across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, this is a political show, but I just needed to talk to you for a second about the Eurovision Song Contest. Israel did not win the Eurovision Song Contest. However, it got the largest number of votes of any country from the popular vote. Let me explain, Asha.
Yeah, because I didn't know, you know. Thank God I was sitting down.
Let me explain how Eurovision works. So first of all, you get the 1 to 8 points, and then the 10 and the 12 appointed by each national jury. And there are 37 of those. And that's Germany, France, blah, 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 all of those. Then there is the phone vote in each country. Here is the critical thing. Each country gives, once again, on the phone vote, 1 to 8 points, 10 and 12. Now, 5% of each country, on average, votes. So, in Britain, that is 3.4 million. In San Marino, it's 400. And so, even though Israel did not win overall, remember, it won in France, I think it's Spain, the United Kingdom, Germany. Wonder why the Germans are so nice to Israel. But a lot of the big countries in the West vote for Israel every year. Now, I suspect in order to win in Britain, you probably need 800,000 votes. But to win in Moldova, you need about 5,000. And so it's worth bearing in mind that whilst this is an electoral college, similar to the American election, and Israel didn't win, when the Irish Republic and other people try and politicise this, remember the response by most Europeans is to vote for Israel either way. So I just want to make that point to everybody.
Wait, hold on. Can you start again from the beginning?
Get out of it. Now, by the way, apparently it's the Feast of Pentecost, and I'm required to give you a cheesecake. Now...
Is it Shavuos?
I don't bloody...
It's Shavuos.
Right, OK. Now, I just want to say to everyone, this is literally just an excuse to eat cheesecake.
I'm a bit full. Do you want some cheesecake,
Do you want some cheesecake? I've got a spoon here.
I mean, later on.
Not a spoon.
We've got
Later
plenty.
OK, well, I'm going to do it. So, OK.
A moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips.
Right.
Indeed. Now, look, we're having a bit of a laugh.
Care.
There is an election going on for who is going to be the leader of the Labour Party. I am devastated that the Labour and trade union movement has boiled down to and become what it's become. They're not interested in actually making life for workers better. I mean, Nigel Farage wins the local elections and Keir Starmer concludes that's evidence that we need to rejoin the EU. I mean, hard to understand that. But Lois McClatchy-Miller has been a contributor on our show for a long time, and she has lamented the way that we have failed to stand up for the families, failed to stand up for traditional values. And once again, she's here to talk about the assisted dying bill. Now, Lois, I've got to be totally honest with you. I'm confused now with both the assisted dying bill and the abortion bill. Do you know something? I will tell you. I won't show this because it's a breach of privacy. But a friend of mine had a scan of his baby who's been born in 2 weeks, and they used AI and it looked amazing. Do you know, under the proposals that this government is willing to countenance, that baby could be aborted, not legally, but without criminal charge, up until the moment it's born. Can you update us on all of this? Because I'm just disgusted.
Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, it's hard to keep up, isn't it, these days, with the bill after bill that is causing concern. And we can definitely talk about the abortion situation, but the one in the press right now is to do with assisted dying. So we all remember the last 19 months.
By the way, I've decided, I think it's inappropriate to eat the cheesecake during this segment.
But it's for religious reasons.
I'll tell you what we'll do. The cheesecake will be demolished, but let's not do it during the assisted dying discussion.
Let's talk about death first, and then we'll eat cheesecake.
Sure. I think that's
You're not doing it because you want cheesecake. You're doing it to celebrate, the equality reasons.
Asha, just to be clear, if we clip this segment out and you're talking about assisted dying while I'm chomping a cheesecake, I don't know what the boss.
But it's Shavuos.
Lois, do us a favour. Start again.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, we'll
edit this out.
The last 19 months talking again and again about this assisted dying bill brought forward by Kim Leadbeater. It has been, excuse the pun, debated to death. In fact, it took so long, there were so many concerns in Parliament that it failed to pass in the last session. Now, I think we all thought that was an end to it. We have spent enough time discussing whether we should put our sick and vulnerable people to death in this country, and now I think, you know, the election has come in. It was not a popular government, it was not a popular Parliament in the last term. They have to do something different, and yet there are people who are campaigning, politicians, MPs, who are saying they're now going to use the private members' bill ballot, which was drawn today, to bring back the leadbeater bill, to bring back that bill that said that we should have a government, a state that can put people to death should they wish it. Just
to remind me, in the initial House of Commons readings, the third reading, the members of the House of Commons said, look, the system here does not include any safeguards. And the House of Commons said, send it to the House of Lords, they'll put the safeguards in. And then the House of Lords didn't put any safeguards in. And had the parliamentary term lasted long enough, this would have become law. Well,
the House of Lords had so many concerns that actually they could not finish the debate.
Have the time.
And that's because it's such a flawed bill. Now, with the mechanism that MPs are talking about using now to bring back the bill and then use the Parliaments Act to fast-track it through, past the House of Lords and into law, that means that we would not have time to change the text of the bill.
By the way, Lois, I'll say this as somebody who works in the Palace of Westminster. The Parliament Act is not intended for this.
That's right.
So the House of Lords is saying we have not had the time needed to make this work properly. Right. The Parliament Act is intended for a deliberate attempt to overrule democracy by the House of Lords. It was never intended to force...
So can it be challenged on those grounds, or is it a shoddy law that Tony Blair brought in on purpose so that this sort of thing can be done?
Well, we're going to have to see what happens if they do, in fact, bring this. There are 7 MPs selected today, and they have the option in front of them. Do they want to resurrect this leadbeater bill or not? They're going to have to decide that in the next 2 weeks. My appeal is that they do not bring this back. One of the main concerns that I have with this bill, which, remember, cannot be changed at this point, is that it has a loophole which says if you are to refuse treatment for an existing condition that you have, then you could become terminal and qualify for an assisted suicide.
I was giving the example of James Whale. Now, just to be clear, James Whale was in favour of assisted dying. However, he would have qualified, 5-8 years ago. Now, because he kept fighting on, look, I'm not saying that it was perfect to have done that. You know, he saw his grandson pass out in the military. Obviously, we can't say what regiment or whatever for security reasons, and he got his MBE. Now, if James Whale was sat here now, what I would say to him is always remember, if you'd have given up 8 years ago under this bill, you'd never have seen that, and you wouldn't have brought the happiness to the public that he brought in addition to those two things.
That's right.
And he would have said, shut up on it.
He would have done. He would have done. Well, he'd have told me to get lost, but he would have been wrong.
Exactly. And this term, terminal, is so stretchy and elastic. There's nobody that can say for sure I have 6 months to live. And now this,
they don't even know they're going to die. I heard someone, they said, no, you've got 6 months to live. She went to another trust and they saved her.
But always remember something else, and I always say this, what I'm about to say will apply to people, a small number hopefully of people watching and listening to this show. Always remember, if you've sat down today and received a cancer diagnosis and been given 6 months to live, or 3 months to live, or whatever, that is based on the medical technology that is available today.
That's right.
On tomorrow, and this often happens now, particularly with cancer, tomorrow the National Institute for Clinical Excellence will approve new drugs. It does every single day, and then you might be called on Monday to be told, in fact, a drug that will extend your life by 5 years has now been approved. Now, what doesn't happen, for obvious reasons, is a doctor doesn't sit you down and go, we're expecting a new drug to come on and be approved. That would be wrong to do that. But remember, and this happened to James Whale, there were people in this building, Lois, who thought James Whale was taking the mick because he kept getting 6 months.
And some of them died before him.
But he kept getting 3 months, 6 months to live. But then new technologies would come on board.
Right.
Lois, I want to ask you this question.
He had a very good doctor, Tom Powell's.
I want to ask you this question. Look, I saw with my mother and her lung cancer. Look, clearly that there was a period in history where people suffered quite considerable pain at the end of their life, particularly with something like cancer. My mum was basically comatose. And I don't mean to say that in a nasty way. But, look, the cost of not having euthanasia was that she spent her last 24 hours basically asleep. But the benefit was that there was no risk of her being forced into killing herself. There was no danger with the inheritance. And it just seems to me, you know, leaving somebody heavily medicated is a better solution, just in every respect.
Yeah, right, because there are bad people out there. There are ways that this law can be taken advantage of. And if one person dies under dubious circumstances because of this law, that is reason enough not to pass this legislation.
But where's Streeting's point? And we will go to this call in minutes. But where Streeting's point was this: what happens to geriatric care after this goes through? It'll basically be Lois McClatchy-Miller is a nutter. She has refused to top herself. Screw her. You know, leave her in whatever.
Once you open that door, I mean, as I say, I know a woman who's now 50 but has a mental age of 3 or 4 because she was starved of oxygen, and her parents are terrified, you know, because they're in their 70s or maybe early 80s. When they die, you know, the state will just go, well, she's not got quality of life. There's no one to watch out for her.
Well, it's cheaper that way, isn't it? If there's an economic case to be made to
and that's what they'll
end
do.
lives early,
they're very cold-hearted. Anyway, we've got a call, Mark in London. What did you want to say, Mark?
Evening, gentlemen and lady. Yeah, it's regarding this assisted dying. Right, my mother-in-law lives in the northeast.
This isn't a joke, my mother-in-law.
No, this is no joke. No. If anything, we're fuming about it. Right, she's about 80, 81. She's my mother-in-law. I can't remember the exact age. So we went up about 3 weeks ago to see her, see how she's doing and that. And she does her shopping. She walks up and down the stairs on her own, right? Goes and pays bills, even at her age. And to be honest, she's a bit fitter than what I am. Right.
I think I know what you're going to say. I think I know what you're going to... let me just check. Are you going to say she was left with authorities and suddenly she was dilapidated very, very quickly?
No.
Oh,
What happened was, right, we was sorting tidying the front room up a little bit, and we found a letter. She went, "Oh, give me that. That's got to stay there." And we went, "Oh, all right, what is it?" She went, "That's my DNA CPR." And we went, "Your what?" And she went, "Well, a gentleman from the doctors and that come round, and he was telling me that if I had an heart attack or anything like that, the ambulance won't get here until after 5 minutes. By that time, you'll basically be brain dead, which means you will be like a vegetable. So your family will see you in the hospital dribbling food. You won't know who they are or anything. And it's basically a letter. If a doctor or anyone goes around there or an ambulance gets called, they see this envelope and they go, "Oh, well, her name's on this DNA CPR."
DNR, yeah, do not resuscitate, yeah. Why do they encourage people to do that? I've heard this before, Lois.
We were absolutely...
I can imagine, yeah.
By the way, I think...
Fuming I am.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, I will say one thing. I think it is utterly ludicrous to suggest that if your family see you in a state of illness, in a state of, vulnerability or weakness, that they're going to be anything other than supportive and loving towards you. It's garbage.
What happened anyway, Mark? Did you go and challenge them?
It's not that. The thing was, he turned around and said the ambulance will not get here within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
By that time, you'll basically be a vegetable.
He was encouraging her, but did you complain about this, Mark?
Oh, we had her up the doctors the next day, and we got her to cancel everything.
Good.
But by the way, I think there is. I think this is a good example, Lois, because do not resuscitate is actually an appropriate decision in certain circumstances. So, as an example, older people would say osteoporosis. You know, when you attempt to restart the heart, you're likely to break all of the rib cage, and that can be an extremely painful thing, and you only keep the person alive for a day or two. But it's amazing, isn't it, the way that do not resuscitate, which starts as a medical decision, becomes de facto euthanasia.
And they say, "Oh, she's 80, whereas she would have lived to 100," or they'll say, "Oh, they're overweight, it's not worth trying, and they're 50 and would have lived till they're 70 or 80. Why are they just sort of... It seems like they've become mechanical and not they become sort of non-human about life.
Yeah, it's very concerning. I mean, of course, as you say, Andre, there are circumstances, and to have a DNR is not exactly the same as euthanasia, because sometimes there's a situation where it isn't appropriate to extend life artificially. But it does seem very odd that this is becoming a preemptive suggestion to people who seem otherwise healthy. And obviously, you know, we don't know the medical circumstances in every case.
I mean, obviously, just to be clear, there's a difference between withdrawing treatment. Nobody who needs a lung transplant aged 90 is going to get one on the NHS.
Right.
Let's just be clear. Right, they're going to say, I'm very sorry, but realistically, you know, this treatment costs an enormous amount of money. It's going to be very painful. It's not worth doing. So I get that. But you know, Asher and I, and Asher has said this about these cases in, was it the Netherlands, where somebody was a bit depressed?
A girl like 19, a bit depressed. There was a bloke in Canada who just had become bankrupt and just didn't have any money, and they allowed him to do it.
A woman in her early 20s in Spain, Noelia most recently, who had been a victim of abuse.
A lot in this Belgium, countries. And,
you know, because we often focus on the cases of the elderly, which is very important, but it also impacts people. You know, if someone has anorexia and refuses to eat, then they can make themselves terminal and they will qualify under the leadbeater bill. If someone is diabetic and refuses to take their insulin jabs, they will become terminal and qualify under the leadbeater bill. It is very easy to make yourself terminal and therefore have the state assist your suicide.
Well, I can only say the only one person that I've experienced it with really is James Whale. And look, he's looking down from heaven. Respectfully, James, I disagree with you. I think actually, had you followed this piece of legislation, you'd have died years ago. You would never have got the MB, which was the best day of his life. You'd never have seen your grandson pass out of the military, and also he'd never have done all the good that he did in terms of talking about his illness. Yes, with you. I mean, he did actually like Ash, but he was very proud of their relationship, it wasn't dodgy, by the way. It wasn't dodgy, was it?
No. Strike the rooms. Anyway, look, we're going to take a little breaky with Lois McClatchy-Miller, social commentator. We're talking about all kinds of other things. The Office of National Statistics figures out today show the net migration figures for the year ending 2025 was dropped again, 271,000, the lowest it has been since 2012. So we're talking all about that. And EU.
Do you know the reason for that net migration? It's because lots of people are leaving.
Yeah.
The actual number coming in is the same.
Because they're sick of it. 0344 499 1000. A lot of the people who've grown up here are slinging their up, and a lot of the rich.
Ashley, you've got to eat this cheesecake.
I know. It's Shavuos. Happy Shavuos, everyone. It's Talk with Andre and Ash. Lois McClatchy-Miller is with us. That's the number. You can WhatsApp us if you're a bit scared. WhatsApp voice message 0344 499 1000. It's Talk.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is Talk, and there's been a suggestion from the gallery, and we're going to do it. The first 15 minutes after midnight, up until the first break, is going to be Ask Asher. what's going to happen is, at midnight, I'm going to leave the studio. I will answer your calls. Right,
he's very good.
And then I'll put them through to Asher, and Asher will answer any of your problems. Have you got any embarrassing illnesses? Have you got any?
I'm not medically qualified, but I've got an A-level.
Sexual transmitted anything. Yeah. If you've got crusted scabies or any of those.
Anything, you know. You remember Anna Rayburn? Any personal problems?
Yeah.
Things like that. Relationship advice, problems in life at work.
Yeah.
Anything.
So if you want to phone up a man who is qualified as a sound engineer and ask him about medical issues, ask him about financial issues.
No insurance or anything, but it's much cheaper and better value than a real doctor or psychiatrist.
He will answer all the questions, the best visibility.
And more real.
And remember, his professional training is as a sound engineer.
Not really even that, really. I just picked that up along the way.
So there you have it. Lois McClatchy-Miller is with us. Thank you so much for coming in.
Any questions for me?
We always appreciate your...
After midnight.
Your updates. I just want to ask you where we're up to with the abortion bill, because I have to say I'm pretty appalled by it. So first and foremost, I think it is reasonable to say that abortion is traumatic for women. I think there are very few women who dance down to the abortion clinic and delighted to do it. I think it would be wrong for us to demand a prohibition on abortion without first saying that we're willing to support women in that position, because I just think it's garbage. I have to say, the idea of decriminalising killing your own baby up until the moment of birth. Now, remember, Lois, if you are mentally ill, if you've got a problem, there are ways that the criminal justice system can deal with that. But as it stands, how crude can I be? I don't want to be crude, but as long as the baby has not popped out, you can kill it under these proposals, and I find that just a devastating.
It's a living thing, you know what I mean? This is a living human.
Now I get if somebody's mentally ill and whatever, but that does. I mean, I would suggest that if you were to have a late stage abortion because you were 13 and been raped and mentally ill, you're not going to prison, right?
Well, this is already
as it stands.
Already the situation in the law allowed for abortions on grounds such as a fetal disability, on grounds of if there was going to be a very serious threat to the mother's life, for example. So a lot of the cases that people worry about when it comes to very late term abortions are already covered. Unfortunately, this legislation has passed into law that it is decriminalised now to have an abortion.
So that has been passed.
Can I ask you a question? Because this is an interesting one. And there was a woman who came on the show in the 90s, and she was quite famous in the country, and she had sextuplets being inside her, 6 babies, and they said, the doctors have said, you've got to abort, I think 4 of them, or they're all going to die. And she said, no, I won't do it. I'm going to just see what happens, and they did all die. So what, from your religious point of view and your ethical point of view, would you say about aborting 3 or 4 so 2 might live?
Gosh, I mean, that's probably the hardest question I've ever been asked. But I mean, these very difficult situations obviously have to be handled very sensitively, and my approach is always save the most number of lives. And it sounds that you can, and it sounds a little bit like the question of, if you have a mother who might die if she doesn't, if you can't save both lives, like, what do you do? And I think the answer to that is fairly straightforward. Is if you cannot save. If it looks like both are going to die, you save 1 if you can. And so there's situations where, foreseeing the death of the child, you may have to deliver it early and respectfully. And in that case, unfortunately, more in the death of a child. But you do what you can to save the number of lives.
But at the same time, and I'll say this in a crass way, if I attempted to take a hacksaw to your foot, that would be illegal. If your foot had gangrene, it would become perfectly legal, right? Ergo, there's a big difference between a medical requirement and a choice, if you like.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we can get very caught up on these important hypotheticals, but the majority of abortions, which are 300,000 a year at this point, 1 in 3 women will have an abortion, 1 in 3 babies conceived or aborted. That 99% of those are choices.
By the way, I read a statistic the other day, and I'm not being critical of people for doing this. I can understand why it happened. The current estimate is that 300,000 unborn babies died as a result of Chernobyl in Britain. That is to say that at the time of the Chernobyl radiation leak, I think 86, 87, something like that, there was a fear that large amounts of birth defects would come about in the United Kingdom. That did not materialise, but a large number of women, just in case, had an abortion. Now, if there are 300,000 extra abortions, one would assume that this was a moral panic that led to 300,000 people who would be alive today not being alive. And I think that is a really stark example of where choice can actually become dangerous, because to my knowledge, no children in the UK have been born with a birth defect as a result of Chernobyl, yet 300,000 babies were aborted.
And are aborted every single year.
And so 600,000 apparently in that period.
Right. Well, I mean, it's grown steadily year on year. So we kind of just reached this peak of 300,000 in 2023, which is the latest on record.
Lois, who are these women? Do we know who they are? Because I heard in the United States of America, quite often it's teenage single mothers who have abortions, but it is a spread of people, isn't it?
It is actually. It's less common these days for teenagers to have abortions. Less of them are having sex, quite frankly. And so if you look at the data, it's actually skewing more towards women in their 30s, 20s and 30s.
And they're doing it why? I mean, I know it's hard to say.
Yeah, there's not actually great data on this, but we all know someone who's had an abortion, because 1 in 3 women do. So we all know somebody. And I think there's a culture in our country.
Does this count morning after pill?
No, that's separate. So it's 300,000 abortions.
Okay, so actually do us a favour. What is an abortion then?
Okay, so
in this case, because to be fair, I think a lot of Christians would include the morning after pill.
Sure, but just in that statistic, it's
medical operation sort of thing.
So an abortion takes place when a living baby, a person is pregnant, a woman is pregnant, and she ends the life of that child either through pills, which is the most common use, or it is still sometimes done by surgery. If it's a little later on, they'll have to dismantle the baby.
Can I ask a really, perhaps an unpleasant question? If you take a pill, presumably something comes out.
Of course, yeah.
So what do you do with the...
Yeah, so in early pregnancy, women are actually told to flush it down the toilet. And many women...
I'm uncomfortable with that.
Sometimes you have to go and get it scraped or taken out, something.
If you have an incomplete abortion, which is more common these days because of pills by post, women are having abortions at home on themselves. And so, we introduced legal abortion to end bacterial abortion.
But hang on a second. I mean, I'm no medic, and to be fair, none of us are. So let's be careful. But I know from Danielle Nichols.
Yeah.
So Danielle Nichols, she has had to go to the abortion clinic multiple times because of stillbirths. Yeah. Right, and I hadn't known that. There are some people, and that's where you've got to be careful. Yeah. Some of the women walking into those clinics are not having abortions. Sure. But in her case, the baby is dead and is going to kill her because it's not coming out. Well, presumably for the morning after pill. If a pill kills the baby,
Yeah, so with the abortion process with pills, there's 2 pills you take. The first, mifepristone, will kind of... Mifepristone will suffocate the baby from nutrients, so it will kill the baby inside you. And then the second one, misoprostol, you will take 24 hours after it, and that will flush the baby out. So for early abortions, taking place between 0 and 10 weeks, it will be small. A lot of women do see it, and that is very traumatizing for them.
Is there any statistics, and I suspect you're going to say no to this, but I would love to see the statistic of what would happen in a pilot scheme if you walk into an abortion clinic, there is a Christian sat next to the abortion people going, right, do you have a house? If you don't, we can find you one. Do you have a regular income? If you don't, we will give you a regular income. Do you have somebody who is a best friend? If you don't, we will give you a best friend. I would be interested to see the number of abortions that reduces. I suspect there has been no work in that direction.
Well, there's incredible charities, pro-life charities, who have been doing that work for many years, who do find housing, economic support. I know Isabel Van Spruce, who's been on the show, I think, before, I know that she's paid debts for women who've been in crisis. There's incredible Christians out there. Unfortunately, that work is now being made illegal.
I don't understand that. I think, I'll tell you what upsets me about that whole thing. There have been occasions in this country where we've pretended we're American. There are not lunatics with megaphones outside abortion clinics in the UK. There are not doctors being followed home and getting death threats and whatever. I personally, well, you know my view. My view is that the Christian alternative should be offered in a fulsome way inside the abortion clinic, because at the end of the day, the NHS should take the view, we don't care what you do as long as you're safe. Therefore, we will give you the full range of options. I mean, if I went in for any other medical treatment, they wouldn't refuse to give me all of the options. You know, say as an example, a woman with breast cancer. You know, you can have a mastectomy, double mastectomy. You can have chemotherapy, radiotherapy. They don't make it illegal for one option to be told to you.
Right, and you know, this is under the guise of being pro-choice, right? But we're told they're not pro-abortion, they're pro-choice. But if we're taking away that option, we're not allowing these charities to be near the clinic and give that option at the point of need. And so, we are really reducing this, and I think it's actually quite patronising to say.
It is copying America like we do, like sheep, aren't they? Our authorities, they go, oh, America, like the George Floyd thing, which we don't have the same problems, and we just adopt the American. It's like embarrassing, isn't it? Anyway, 0344 499 1000. Lois McClatchy Miller is here, social commentator. We're going through all the news, but you can give us a ring on that number. It's Andre and Ash, at Andre JP Walker, at Virtual Ash. What's yours?
At Lois McClatch.
Back in 2 minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, I just want to share with you something that we were talking about over the break. So, obviously, I've got this cheesecake. I'll be honest.
You've demolished it.
Both slices are gone now. Asher hasn't had. So Asher said,
do you want one of these ones?
Asher said, I'm trying to lose a bit of weight, and he offered the cheesecake to Lois McClatchy Miller. And she said, no, I don't want it. And I said, well, I suspect you're not massively into fatty food. And Lois McClatchy Miller said, oh, no, I eat a fair amount. Right, let me tell you something. I've got a friend of mine who has got the body of a Greek god. And I've got a friend of mine who's got the body of a football fan from Burnley United. Burnley, right. Basically, big fat lad, really slim lad, right. The big fat guy said to me, I don't eat very much. Whereas the really thin guy went, it's amazing I'm so thin, I eat loads. So I thought to myself, you know what? This is a matter of perception. So I took them to an eat as much you like Chinese. Right. Now, the kid who was thin, who said that he ate shed loads, had 2 plates. And the guy who was fat, who said he didn't eat much at all, had 6. Yeah. Right. The reality is, it's all self-defined. No, it's all self-defined. I don't eat much. Yes, but it's lard.
It's all relative, isn't it? Yeah, it's all relative. Yeah.
So what I advise all of you to do, if you've got a fat friend and a thin friend, do it yourself. Take them to an Eat As Much You Like buffet. Don't tell them.
Take notes.
You can. I'll tell you what.
Maybe weigh the food.
I knew this girl who was enormously fat, and her mum told me that she'd gone on a diet, and in fact every night after school she went to the chippy first. So she was eating salad when she got home, but she went chippy.
But she didn't sweat much for a fat loss.
Chippy, you had to. Oh, I was going to tell an awful joke then. But okay, so have you ever taken friends to an Eat As Much As You Like?
Friends to an Eat As Much As You Like.
I'm not sure I've even been to an Eat As Much As You Like.
Have you not been to it? They're fantastic. I haven't been for a while, but you know, there's a strategy, isn't it? Because they want you to fill up with rice and pasta and the cheap stuff, but don't fall for that. You have to just fill yourself with meat.
Do you know what? I always use the example of Eat As Much As You Like buffets with Jewish friends, because they always go, in Judaism, because it's an ethnicity and a culture and a religion, you can pick and choose what you want, like a Chinese buffet. So I said to my lawyer, I went, where are you up to? And he went, He said, if Judaism was a Eat As Much As You Like Chinese, I'm well up for the duck pancakes, but I wouldn't get as far as the pig's feet. And I thought, yeah, all right, I'll buy that. So rice and black bean you're good with.
There
but when we get to the more challenging things, he's not up for that.
There you go.
Look, I just want to ask you this question just before we because we are going to have a bit of a laugh now, but are you happy or sad about the direction of travel that this country's going on in terms of all of these issues? Because I've got to be honest with you, I sit here and I think, if I was the Prime Minister, or if you were the Prime Minister, if Asher was the Prime Minister, there's so many things you can do. And you just think, oh, let's cozy up to the EU and have an abortion. I think there's so many better things you could do with your life.
I know. One thing gives me hope, though, in that we've come so far down this track, killing babies all the way up to birth, and assisted suicide for the older. You know, we've come so far that I think suddenly it's okay to be discussing these things again, whereas 10 years ago it was very hard to have these discussions. But I think people are waking up to the problems that we have, and that's, you know, we're sitting here on a TV show discussing these really important issues we might not have been.
I mean, you are discussing it, by the way, with a man who's put that much makeup on. He looks like Ian Dale.
No, because the sun's been out today. This is all from the heat. It's amazing.
By the way,
be careful out there, when you can end up like
I'll tell you what he looks like. Do you remember when you used to
bargain hunters?
When you used to go with your pocket money to, like, John Lewis to try and buy your mum some makeup or something, and there was that awful woman with a big orange face and white neck going, that's really expensive, that one. All right, you know, she just gets some orange paint and just go with her face in here. Oh, to look like this, you need to get this one. I don't, with respect, if my mother looked like that, it's like David Dickinson in the TV show Face Off. I mean, it's just dreadful.
Although I think orange skin is in these days, isn't it?
It's in, isn't it? Since Trump got in, it's sort of the way.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got to be honest with you. I got fired by Ian Dale. We worked together years ago on this internet TV channel. Right, I didn't know. I met his partner. Right, I walked into the office and I went, "Where is Mahogany Face?" Right, and this guy went, "Who's Mahogany Face?" And I went, "Ian Dale. He's given up on the stage makeup. He's now creosoting his face." Right, and I didn't know. I didn't know that was his partner. Anyway, Mahogany Face called me into the studio, called me into the office and sacked me. Mahogany Face. He did. I thought he's given up on makeup. It's croup and all.
How did it happen? Did he go, "Andre, I've heard what you've been saying about me. Get out."
Yeah, it was
You're
similar.
fired.
It was similar to that. He also said, "Who's taking the £200 a night taxi?"
I don't know.
Yeah,
this is a good story. Andrew Mountbattenberg Windsor has been censured for failing to surrender his freedom of the City of London, despite being asked to do so. The City of London Corporation passed a motion of censure, a formal expression of disapproval against the former prince, but he's failed to respond. Now, what are the benefits? Because we were going to get that freedom of the City. Why does he not want to give it up? What's so good?
Right,
just take your sheep.
Do you know, I've got to do something about freedom of the city. James Whale left a list of staff to give freedom of the city to. Also, Charlie Mullins has paid for the Freedom of the City, and I've not organised it yet.
No, but tell us why is Andrew not
So if you are Freeman of the City, historically, the only way you could trade in the city was if you're a Freeman of the City. Historically, it was given by guilds. It's now given directly. Well, it's still given by guilds, but it's given directly by the City of London. And effectively, when you go in, you take an oath to behave in an appropriate manner. If you do not behave in an appropriate manner, they will take it from you. Right. He should return his warrant. Now, you may not have seen one of these warrants, but it's really easy. If you just Google Freedom of the City, you'll see it's basically a long plaque. It's got a little red wallet. And so what can you get? The one thing I did see, which I didn't believe, was you are allowed to be taken home by the City of London Police when drunk.
That could come in handy when he's down Pizza Express.
I
remember
the Master Young Freeman of London was that shedded. He couldn't walk and he was on Cornhill. First an ambulance arrived and they went, listen, forgive the language, he's just pissed. I mean, he's not...
So you're saying if we get this, it's a free cab home whenever I want from the City of London?
So the police arrived. The police arrived and they went, look, we'll take him back to his hotel. I went, all right. They said, but listen, we're not putting him in the back of the cab. We're putting him in the cell at the back of the vehicle, because if he throws up, this vehicle's out of operation. Whereas in the cell, we can just, we can just hose it down. They went, and will you get in with him? So I got in the back, and so this was my kind of bucket list of being. So I'm chatting away to them, and we get to the hotel, and they open the door. Right, and as they opened the door, I got out to have a cigarette. I was smoking in those days, and people go, "Your prisoners are running away! Your prisoners are running away!" Right, so I then said to the police, I went, listen, this bloke can't walk. What are you going to tell the hotel staff? They went, don't you worry. Right, they went into the hotel staff. They came out, and me and my mate both had long black coats. Yeah. They put our collars up, and they went, right, we'll take him, one copper under each arm. You walk behind, looking sinister. Right? So we walked through this hotel reception and got him to his bedroom and put him in bed. And they said, I said, what, to these police constables, what did you tell the concierge? They went,
a diplomat or something.
We told them it was a top secret operation to turn the CCTV off, right? That we were going to move this bloke. And they said, they all look the other way. This bloke comes in, he can't talk, he can't walk. They walk in, 2 police officers, he can't walk, and 2 blokes who were looking like police detectives following. We came downstairs, the bar was shut. They went, for you, officer, we'll go reopen the bar. They must have thought it was some sort of extraordinary rendition of turn the CCTV off. It reminds me, Lois, of what we always used to do when we worked in the House of Commons. If somebody came in, so I'll give you a great story. A friend of mine was a member of Parliament, and his he got this person who came in for a surgery, and the guy sits down and he puts the Tupperware box on the table, and he says to the MP, he goes, you know what's in this box, don't you?
Oh no.
And the MP goes, yes I do, but I think you're going to have to show it to me. And the guy opens the box, takes the lid off the box and turns it upside down immediately and slowly removes it, and there are around 30 jelly babies on the table. And he goes, during the day they live in the box, at night they climb the curtains, they're Soviet agents. Right, so what the MP did is what we all got taught to do, which was this. He gathered them up, put them back in the Tupperware box, and he went, listen, the Prime Minister is aware of this. I'm going to give her these, but here is the most important thing. Most important thing, you are no longer safe. You must never contact me again and never admit we had this conversation. Then you'd send them on the way. But we can never be seen together.
I wonder how many times a day an MP tells someone that.
Paul Hamilton has texted in, says I look like an Oompa Loompa on the way to the chocolate factory. Now we're going to take a little break, but then we're going to do a bit of World Cup celebration, because don't forget the World Cup's coming up, and we're celebrating because Talk Sport is obviously going to have all the best matches live, and you'll get the best coverage on Talk Sport. We can talk about it as well. We can actually do sport better than Talk Sport ourselves, but we've got more important things. But we're going to have Marco Helliwell, who's a Talk Sport tech-op and World Cup songwriter. The half-timers featuring Carlton Cole. He used to play for Chelsea and was on loan at Aston Villa. It's Englishman All My Life. The half-timers featuring Carlton Cole, Englishman All My Life, will be with that song. Thanks to Lois, That was fantastic. We'll see her again soon. We'll be back after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, do you know what? Football is excited me recently because, as you know, Danielle Nichols, who co-hosted with me, her husband is the assistant manager of Hull. So we're really, really hoping that on Saturday they beat Middlesbrough. God knows what happened. Southampton, that's so
It's
bad.
a massive, it's the biggest, isn't that the most valuable football match in the world?
Well, the Sun estimates the winner of the Championship playoffs
to get in the Premier League.
£265 million. Anyway, that's not why we're talking football. We've got a great guest who we've been nodding to for about 5 years, who is Marcus Halliwell, who is a tech op at TalkSport and a World Cup songwriter. I thought I called you Marco.
You did in the intro, but then you called me Marcus by accident.
Okay.
It's quite. It's happened to me my whole life.
Explain the top.
Okay, well, I was just going to come in neutral, but I was like, no, wear it, flaunt it, because obviously Arsenal have won the title for the first time.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. For the first time in 22 years, I understand. Congratulations in order to you as well.
Yeah, great.
For your European Cup.
They went on their parade, today.
So. Oh, you had the parade today?
Straight away, the parade, because after a cup match, they did it in '82 as well, but Arsenal have not won that yet, have they?
No, we haven't had a chance.
You might do.
No. Well, we might get the big
You've had
ears,
the chance, you just never...
Yeah.
So do us a favour. So you are a World Cup songwriter.
Yeah, I'm obsessed.
Explain.
Have you done it before, have you?
Yeah, so my first one was in 2022 for the Qatar World Cup. I wrote a song, Coming Home for Christmas. It was 33-1 for Christmas #1.
Really?
And then I came
Where did it get to in the hit parade?
No, it didn't actually have a chart, yeah. But that's because England went out, not because the song wasn't absolutely sublime. Yeah. So hopefully England will win the World Cup.
How many copies did you sell? 300.
I did it all right, actually, because I did it for charity. I did it for Fair Share, so...
yeah, but that's only to boost the numbers,
Didn't
isn't
you
it?
get a little piece of the pie? Everyone's got to have their little piece of the pie.
No, hang on a second. Marco, be realistic. You didn't give a toss about the charity.
Of course
you just
I did.
Thought, you just thought,
what was the
I raised money for the food bank. It was Fair Share, food bank charity.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so... it's actually really difficult working with charities. They're quite big organisations. It's quite hard to mobilise them.
I don't like that. I don't like it when the charity, the boss is on £250,000 and I think, well, that means that some of the charity money is just paying these obscene wages. But anyway, that's a bit political. I've got a bit of history with TalkSport because I was part of the 2004. It was at the European Cup Portugal, and we got straight in at #2, and we went on and did Top of the Pops. I mean, how old were you in 2000? When was it? How old are you now?
Oh, I'm 38 now.
Oh, so
my brother was on with you.
Was he?
So at the time, TalkSport.
Come on, England. Come on, Eileen.
TalkSport also owned a load of local radio stations, and at the time they owned Wire FM in Warrington. My brother was the breakfast presenter. He was in the background.
Oh yeah, head office was in Warrington. That
it wasn't. It was in Wigan, Oral Lodge. It was in Oral Lodge.
Oral Lodge.
Oh God!
It was it. Yeah. Anyway, so have we got the song?
Yeah,
Should we put it on the Wheels of Steel? Have you got the needle on the record?
In the 90s, and there's a lot of talk, like people are really nostalgic about that time at the moment, like, oh, I used to knock for my friend, I didn't have a mobile phone, we used to play until it was dark, this, that and the other. So I thought I wanted to tap into that nostalgia because people miss those times, you know. We're getting all too AI, all too technology. Those were the good days.
Do you not think, though, the reason why you liked the 1990s was because you were a kid, and being a kid's quite good?
Being a kid is great.
I mean, like,
no, it was good as an adult. I mean, I was 20 and it was the best times of the 90s.
Oh, can I tell you one thing? Marco, I tell you, he can't remember the 90s.
That's why I know it was good.
He used to go to Hacienda in Manchester. I mean, that was just...
Yeah, oh yeah. I did. I mean, yeah, I actually lived in the assistant manager's bed.
So let me ask you this. We talk about all this nationalism, we talk about all this toxic masculinity, whatever. What is the value of supporting your national football team in the World Cup?
I mean, what I like about the World Cup is it brings the country together. The tribalism goes out the door. We're no longer Arsenal.
Well, it brings England together. The Scottish and the Welsh don't like us, do they?
It brings England together. And
well, there's very few things that England does as a country, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because actually, in reality, we're quite often regions, aren't we?
Yes.
Or we're individual football teams.
This is the only time we get alone without the others.
Exactly. So,
are you going out to the World Cup?
No, well,
if the
song takes off, then maybe.
What's the traction? Is it out yet?
Oh, it's out. It's out.
Is it going? Is the traction
going?
Right, I'm gonna get it on my. I've got this I've got this YouTube. Music.
What's it called? A YouTube
It's
machine.
called Englishman All My Life by the Half-Timers, featuring Carlton Cole.
I mean, what other footballers were on it?
Just Carlton Cole.
Why just Carlton Cole? I mean, you've got access to all it. You could have had Cundy on it. Mind you, his voice. Yeah.
I might get him on the next one. I've got an idea for the Euros.
Englishman by the half. Whatever.
What did Carlton Cole bring to the party? Is he a good vocalist, dancer?
He's a great rapper. He does the second verse. His one's
is it like a John Barnesy? Is he at that level of rap quality?
I was looking to tap into that.
Here we go. We're hearing it again now.
That's the deal.
Is this him rapping? Oh, you can't hear, can you?
No, his verse is the second verse. This is a chap called Baby Geezer who goes by.
Baby Geezer?
He's actually an ex-Arsenal firm. He's great
Just play it off the system would be better.
I agree, actually. I don't know why I'm doing that.
Basically, it's about an Englishman born in 1967, and all of his life, he's never seen us win the cup. Okay, he's never seen us win a cup. Obviously, the Lionesses brought us the Euros, but we've never won the World Cup.
They're not the main ones, are they? Let's be honest.
Listen, it still counts. You know, the country was quite euphoric.
No, it doesn't count.
But we haven't won the World Cup, right? So this takes you on a journey.
Do you think we're going to do it? They say we've got a chance. We're about fourth favourite. Obviously, we're not favourite, but one day, do you think we'll do it? And could it be this time?
Of course, we get better every year. We've been in finals recently.
Let me ask you this question. So I'm not a big football fan. I'm not a big football fan, but my dad used to be on the executive of Lancashire Football Association, which is pretty big because it's old Lancashire. It's got Liverpool and Manchester.
Football League was from there, wasn't it? Yeah.
And he often felt that the England team was so full of major stars that they didn't care enough, and actually it was worth getting rid of the real top people and having perhaps not second division people, but lower tier within the Premier League people who would actually care more about it. He always felt that the performance of a lot of the players was actually quite perfunctory because they just didn't care enough. Is that an unfair criticism?
Well, what I would say, it's not an unfair criticism. We had a team full of stars that couldn't play together.
What era are you talking?
I'm talking about, well, they called it the golden generation, when you had Scholes, Lampard.
They've had it too good, whereas 66 they got paid 50 quid a week and they had to get a job after. I remember the guy got the hat-trick in the World Cup final, Jeff Hurst. He was an insurance man after scoring a hat-trick, and someone said, oh, where were you at the World Cup? They didn't realise who he was. He goes, I was on the pitch scoring a hat-trick, you mullis. Now do you want this policy?
Different times.
But different time, but then it was all for the glory. There was not money, it was just pure for the glory.
Do you not think that Gareth Southgate brought that back, Sir Gareth, sorry, I should say?
Not very good either. Not that good, overrated defender as well.
I'll tell you what I thought about Gareth Southgate. It felt to me like he was a serious person with a serious job. You know how you feel with quite often with. I mean, there've been some joke England managers. Remember Graham Taylor?
Yeah, but the best
that one looked like a turnip.
But the best managers aren't. They're like people like Brian Clough and Alex Ferguson. They've got something about them. They've got charisma, eccentric, and
I could never work out which was Alex Ferguson and which was Taggart.
Who would you like to see as, you know, he's quite good now, isn't he, the England manager? So.
Yeah, he's got a good CV. You know, he's won the Champions League. He's got a good pedigree. So I mean, hopefully, but to go better than Southgate, you know, okay, in the World Cup he did a half. It's
hard to not do well.
Semi-final,
we had an easy draw
and 2 Euro finals. I mean,
let me ask you this question: Is it time?
I was at the Euro final, by the way, and we weren't going to beat the Italians just holding back. We could take it out, and we had the flair players, but we just sort of tried to hold them back, and then they just tore us apart.
What could have been?
Is it time for England and indeed the United Kingdom to bid on the World Cup and host it back here?
I don't understand how we haven't got it.
Yeah, it sounds silly.
You've just got to give the right people. You know why? Because you've got to cross the palms of the right people, haven't you?
How? Surely not. Qatar was a valid.
Qatar, amazing, great place to have it, wasn't it? Yeah. But do you think will we get it?
Yeah, I mean we should. We should. So I mean,
we got the Olympics. Didn't
I don't know how we haven't got it.
I've got to be honest with you. I think for me the World Cup would be bigger than the Olympics, simply because I think. There's a lot of obscure sports in the Olympics that people aren't going to go to, but matches right across the UK would be phenomenal.
Yeah, they're jealous of us.
Joint bid with Wales and
of course, yeah.
well.
FIFA are jealous of us because we invented football, and really we should be in charge of it, and that's what happens. But anyway, we've got to go now.
Yeah, but if we were in charge, they wouldn't have the hand in the till.
Yeah, it makes.
By the way, my brother is the stadium announcer on FIFA football.
No way.
You know the guy in the background going, "If you've lost your car."
Can you please get him to play my song out through the tannoy, please?
Yeah, we're playing it now. So tell us the record. What's it called?
It's called Englishman All My Life by the Halftimers. Featuring Carlton Cole. Download it, stream it.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to play it on repeat, on silence.
Come on, England, up the Villa, everyone, and well done to Arsenal as well.
And come on, England, it's coming home.
Yeah, man. Anyway, let's listen to this and just think about it, and we'll be back after the news. Hey, listen to this.
96 still hurts that song. That's all my life, all my life. I've never seen it.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
squirt that on the table again. Oh, okay.
Why do you make sticky hand gel,
This
man?
is the late. Don't talk about sticky hands. Okay, I don't know why I'm doing that. You have that. This is the Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould, and we're now on the paper review with Andre Walker, Asher Gould, and Pete Barnes. Pete, I've got to start with this story about the Queen.
Oh, God.
She favoured Prince Andrew and tried to get him to be a trade envoy. Woman loves child.
I know.
I mean, like,
yeah. Stop the presses. You know, this is the most
Can you imagine-
breaking news of the day.
Can you imagine the big news was woman hated her own offspring?
I know. Yeah. I mean, this
Yeah, but
was
specifically Andrew was a favourite.
Well, really, I don't really care. I think this is the bit where the media on these stories will start to build up, and people will go, "It's got a bit far now," and then people will start to feel sorry for him. But it happens every single time.
But let's just be clear. Those of you who've watched Downton Abbey, that is owned by the Earl of Carmarthen,
Yes.
Who is the father of Lord Porchester. But the Earl of Carmarthen's father, the reason people say that Prince Andrew is the Queen's favourite is they say that Lord Porchester, the father of the current Earl, is the father of Prince Andrew. There is simply no evidence.
Oh, is that actually why?
Well, yeah,
Well, that's the rumour then.
So her favourite horse trainer was Lord Porchester,
Right, okay.
Right, who later became the Earl of Carmarthen, who owned Downton Abbey, right. Oh, they look a bit similar. They're all inbred.
Oh, yes,
right?
yeah.
But listen, James Hewitt looks like Earl Spencer.
Yeah.
Right. And do you know why? Because Camilla is Prince Charles's third cousin.
Oh, God.
Let's just be clear on something else. King Prince Charles, right, is descended from Queen Victoria via both parents.
Yes.
Right, so when they go, oh, she looks a bit like... I mean, I always think it's surprising that Camilla looks like Rod Hall, because they are
You never
related.
saw them in the same room. I did once see her with Emu. But, you know, they did say that Diana was actually more royal than Charles because of the change in the family
Yeah,
tree.
I always, again, I'm not really one of these royal kind of people, but I will say that there's always that rumour that the House of Windsor were kind of usurpers, that they that they weren't really part of the line.
Well, but the reason for that is very, very simple. When the Acts of Succession came in, it dispossessed 50 Catholic members of the Stuart family.
Right, that's really why.
So the Jacobean pretend. I don't know if you know.
No, it's not a bit of history I know anything about.
So basically, no Catholic can be the British monarch. And as basically what had happened was you'd had all of these Jameses and Charleses and all this sort of caper, and they basically got sick of all of it and said, right, we're getting rid and we're bringing in the Hanoverian dynasty. And the Hanoverian dynasty, basically a bunch of Germans.
Was it George the First?
George the First.
Yeah.
George the First couldn't speak a word of English. George the First, second, third, whatever. However, the Jacobean, i.e. the supporter of King James, Bonnie Prince Charlie, and all of those all those characters, the Jacobean pretender to the throne is the Duke of Bavaria.
Oh.
But he's not a pretender because he says, I don't want the throne.
Okay, right.
So, but
the day he changes his mind.
It all got very German. But essentially...
It's basically German, German and Scottish.
Yeah.
Essentially, as a Catholic, what I would say is this. If you're going to be the head of the Church of England, I think it's worth being a member of the Church
I think that's a start. I
think
what
we've got to agree.
It's a start of a 10.
Although, of course, because there were only two faiths in the UK at the time, or two denominations, Catholic or Protestant, it's only Catholic that's banned.
Yeah.
So you could be a Buddhist and head of the
I'd
Church.
love that. Could you imagine a Buddhist? Well, let's not put it in his head. He's already wandering away from one religion.
Islam. Okay, look, before we go to the papers, which we will go to, we can't get away from the fact that Pete is from right in the heart of the Makerfield constituency. Question number one, have you actually bothered going?
Not yet, no.
Are you going to bother going?
I am actually going to go up. It's probably not this weekend, probably next week I'm aiming to.
So we're going to have to give the names of all the candidates. We can do it off the top of our heads. Conservatives announced today.
Did they? I haven't seen it.
Oh, come on, you must know.
No, I've genuinely I've not seen the name.
Okay. Think for a minute.
Right. Is it Michael Winstanley?
It's Michael Winstanley. Think for a minute.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Think for a minute.
Who's like me and Michael Winstanley?
Which Conservative do you think they're asking to run for the seat of Winstanley?
Yes.
Could it be former Vice President of the Conservative Party, Michael Winstanley? Yeah. So just to be clear, I think there's a Restore candidate, Rebecca, somebody or other will get the name.
Rebecca Shepherd.
Rebecca Shepherd. Screaming Lord Hope. Is for the Monster Raving Loonies, then Andy Burnham and of course Robert Kenyon.
Yes.
The key questions I think are these. Point number one, the polling says that Andy Burnham can win with a 20% personal vote.
I think that's
that feels.
That's nonsense.
I mean, that is
people,
doubling.
I think that is people doing the poll that are still trying to find Makerfield on a map and very surprised that it's not a place. I think that I think that's the disconnect.
So to remind ourselves, most of the polling says Reform 50%, Labour about 28%,
roughly.
Which sounds about right. They won all 8 seats.
What about Rupert Lowe's party? People are saying they're worried it would split.
Okay, so this is the big problem: is that if the Tories and Restore run candidates, it is likely that Reform could lose.
Right.
But the thing is, Rupert Lowe's party does not need to win to be a problem. It needs to poll between 1% and 6 or 7%. Because
taking Reform's lunch.
But also it disproves the inevitability of Nigel Farage. But that's the big problem.
But he's making a point.
But let's just be clear. Both of us were young Conservatives in Wigan Borough.
Yeah.
Right.
Tory boys.
If you were now, presumably you're not registered to vote in Oral.
No.
But if you were registered to vote, one would assume, as a Conservative, member of the Conservative Party, supporter of the Conservative Party, who's been critical of Nigel Farage, you would vote for the person most likely to beat Burnham, who is Robert Kenyon. I'm guessing this.
I would vote for Robert. I think he's a great candidate.
And Mike Winstanley would be an excellent MP.
Yeah.
In fact, I hope he becomes an MP. Yeah. But I can't see the Conservative Party mobilising £250,000.
No, but again, they don't need to actually put in a full campaign. This is the big thing: is that they just need to slow the juggernaut of Reform UK down, because the reality is they don't have the coalition partners when we get into parliamentary mathematics.
But do you believe that? I mean, so I got a phone call from a Makerfield Reform councillor who said to me, "I'm very worried about Restore Britain, Restore running." My view was this: in most by-elections I've ever come across, basically, by polling day, there are 2 lead candidates, the lefty and the righty, if you like. I suspect if you continue to vote Restore rather than vote for Reform, if you continue to vote Conservative rather than vote Reform, if you continue to vote Labour rather than vote Liberal Democrat or Green or whatever, one would assume it's just because you hate the Labour or Reform candidates. Right? Yeah. I mean, nobody's going to go to the ballot box and go, I'm voting Green. Anyone who continues to vote Green doesn't like Andy Burnham, is my point.
Yeah, I think that the way you've got to really think about it is that it's about ownership of the right, and if you haven't got it in Makerfield and Rupert Lowe is still causing you this level of a problem, you haven't consolidated the right. You don't have an iron grip on it.
Just a note to the producers, we believe that we've name-checked all the candidates.
We have.
I'll get the list and I'll name them before we go to the break.
So I'll tell you what, just for legal reasons, why don't we just say that the Labour candidate is Andy Burnham, the Conservative candidate is Michael Winstanley, the Reform candidate is Robert Kenyon, the Restore candidate is Rebecca Shepherd, and the Monster Raving Looney Party candidate, who's also announced, I don't know his legal name, it's
Alan Howling Loud Hope.
It's Alan Hope. Lord Hope.
Interestingly, the Green candidate, a guy called Chris Kennedy, he announced, and then within 2 hours they pulled his.
I don't think there is officially a Green candidate.
I don't think there is a Green candidate, which again is an interesting addition into this.
I do think it's a fair point. Look, vote for whomever you want, but in the by-election, people are pretty sophisticated because there's so much. I
think at this one as well, I think voters are even more switched on to the consequences of the vote.
If you are voting Conservative, if you are voting Restore, you are not splitting Reform's vote. You just don't want to vote Reform.
Well, just vote for who you want to vote for. Don't let us sway it.
I think some people will vote tactically, but I think actually, so I don't buy the whole Restore splitting a vote and let Conservatives splitting a vote, Green splitting a vote. I think if you are a lefty and you're voting Green, it's because you don't like Andy Burnham.
I don't think anybody splits the vote. I think you just fail to win a voter.
I think that's probably right.
I think that's the reality of it. You're not entitled to a person's vote because you don't like the other side.
What about? I think that's. I'll tell you what would be really interesting. This central question, which is central to the by-election and fundamentally transcends everything. Is it right for the Labour Party to expect Makerfield to elect somebody to be Prime Minister? Or are other candidates right when they say, actually, this just massively takes the mick?
I think it massively takes the mick. I think it is ridiculous, but let's not forget we had the decision of a Chinese super embassy made by a local council. You know, the idea of the Labour Party making any kind of decision is just preposterous. But this is the situation that we find ourselves in, that I find it very interesting that, I think it's in one of the headlines today, is the trans guidance was released conveniently at the same time we're having a by-election that's going to be a big trouble for Andy Burnham. We had the same thing, on the Brexit issue, for example. That is a big problem for Andy Burnham in that constituency.
But somebody made this joke the other day. They said there's an old Labour joke. A Corbynite, a Bennite and a Blurite walks into a bar and the barman says, Andy Burnham, what are you drinking? I mean, the reality is, and this is one thing that I will say of all political parties, and I'm as critical of the Conservatives as this, because, you know, I'm so sick of political parties knocking on your door, my door, and saying, we support this, we support that. I worked at the European Parliament for the Conservatives, and I can tell you what they said, those MEPs in Britain, about subsidiarity, what they said about opposition to the euro, what they said about opposition to federalism was just garbage.
Yeah.
They went to Brussels, they were the biggest euro enthusiasts of them all. The reality is, whether you like it or not, Andy Burnham has two positions on the EU. The one in Westminster and the one in Makefield.
Yeah, and I'll bring it back to the paper review. It is the front cover of the Daily Express.
Okay, let's do that.
Literally, it is the very first. It's a really good point to bring
and
up.
I'll tell you what we'll
Andy
do.
Burnham through and through.
I'll tell you what we'll do. Before the break, we'll also repeat the names of the candidates, just to be fair to everybody, because I just want to be clear with everyone. You know, we are our own political commentators, but it's not our intention to tell anybody how to vote. The only one thing we definitely do is say you should register to vote and you should vote. Mind you, that's an Ofcom requirement.
I think it is, yes.
We can't.
We kept them happy.
So show us the front page of the paper you spotted.
So it's the Daily Express. It is Stop Running Away from Brexit. This one. I think it's a really, really big question for Andy Burnham, because you
By
are
the way,
right.
my favourite bit about that is when they go, does he live on a motorway? No, he lives on these slangs.
I know, yeah. But apparently all of this kind of running thing is all staged. It's, you know,
yeah, it doesn't look like he runs every day.
Apparently, and there's been a couple of big kind of investigations, because this is the level that we're at now, about whether he's actually being honest about whether he actually runs or not. But I do think it is a big thing that you bring up about Andy Burnham, because he suffers from the Hillary Clinton problem, a private and a public position. Yeah. And I think he has to make his mind up where he stands. Unfortunately,
I watched this, and obviously we shouldn't give away his address, though everyone in Goulburn knows where he lives. But right. If you think about the geography of this, and this is not your bit of the area.
No.
Right, so, if he runs to Haydock Racecourse, I believe that's 400 yards. then he can turn left. Then he can turn left onto East Lancs.
Yeah.
I think he can then run, at best, 600 yards.
I was going to say.
And then turn left at the roundabout and be back on his own street again. I believe this man could run about between half and 3/4 of a mile and make it look like he's run, because when he runs down the East Lancs, it looks like he's in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, he does.
He looks like what was it, Forrest Gump?
Yeah, it does.
Well,
I just kept running. No, it was. I just kept running. Yeah. But no, it is.
Well, like fields and that.
Yeah, but
the north is.
But you don't find it really funny that there's always a TV camera crew, or there's a photographer there to capture a picture of him running just at the convenient time that he's gone for a run. I mean, at what point do all political campaigns have to stop doing these tricks? Because the public see right through them.
On the front page of the Express, let's just ask ourselves this, right? Is he on the front page of the Express running with a DJI wireless microphone on his top? Right. Now I will tell you how many. You know what Julia Hartley-Brewer said? She said, I'm always very sceptical of people who go out exercising and look fine at the end of it.
Yes,
she said,
very good point.
When I go to the gym, I'm absolutely ruined.
Yeah,
she said, I just look like a sweat hog.
The one thing I will give Nigel Farage is he's never tried to do any of this. You know, he's a guy with a pint and a cigarette, and that is Nigel Farage.
And that's not in play acting.
And it's not play acting. And that is the authenticity that people love about the guy. You know, that's the one thing I'll give to him.
Anyway,
he is who he is.
We got to take a break. But just a reminder: you vote for who you want. Don't listen to us. Andy Burnham, Labour Party standing. Alan Howlin, Lord Hope, the official Monster Raving Loony Party standing. Robert Kenyon from Reform UK, a Kenyon for Reform UK. Rebecca Shepherd.
I mean, that's a town locally, isn't it?
Michael Winstanley, the Tory Conservative Party. That's Michael Winstanley, and that's it. It's talk with.
And by the way, Michael Winstanley, OBE.
OBE, yes.
Back after this.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, so this is the paper review with Andre Walker, Asher Gould and Pete Barnes. Okay, so in case you hadn't realised, the Makerfield by-election is not the only thing in the news. Let's have a look at this front page of the Daily Mail. I'm really pleased about this. Really pleased. So first of all, we don't want to preempt a police investigation, but I think we were all bitterly disappointed at the Gorton and Denton by-election when family voting was allowed. It's a criminal offence to tell people which way to vote and to help them in the polling station unless you are a registered proxy voter. Look, clearly, I don't know whether the people accused in Angela Rayner's constituency are guilty of anything. But what I am pleased about is the Greater Manchester Police are having a fulsome investigation into allegations that have been made.
I think that's the best way to look at this, actually, is that finally an issue to do with election integrity is being taken seriously by the police.
Absolutely.
I mean, no matter how this stands,
changing round, aren't they?
Yes, and I think it is literally because this is becoming rather undeniable that our elections are not as safe and secure as people like to say that they are.
And also remember, if you are the child of the Gould family or the Barnes family or the Walker family, you know, you have, if you like, an institutional knowledge of how elections work. It doesn't matter what anybody tells you. If your dad moved here from Pakistan 10 years ago, he does not know everything about UK election. It is incumbent on us to say, not, we're going to make our elections similar to Pakistan. We're going to say, no, this is how it works in this country. There won't be family voting. I mean, this whole... I tell you, I've told you this before. I knocked on the door in Tooting in the 2010 elections, and people would open the door, and I'd say, which way are you voting? They'd say, I don't know. We're all on a postal vote, and Dad decides on our behalf. And now, you know... These people did not know that Dad was committing a criminal offence. Pete, I'd give up on the mic. No, honestly, they won't buy new microphones. It drives me bananas. Right? No, we're not fixing the microphones. It's the fault. It's the fault of the company. I don't care. Right? But Pete, what we're not going to do with the front page of the Daily Mail is mention which election it was. Don't care who the candidate was. Don't care who's been arrested. In a sense, don't care what the outcome is. As long as there's a proper investigation.
And that's what we actually just need is a proper investigation. We cannot preempt any of these things. We shouldn't want it to fall any direction. If we believe in the justice system, we believe in the justice system, and we have to let the investigation take its course. I was happy to see that it actually makes front page news for a change.
Yeah, and what about... I mean, I think it's interesting the way they go... Angela Rayner's constituency. Yeah, it's not relevant.
It's not relevant at all. It's not relevant. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like as ridiculous as the Queen story and the former Prince Andrew.
Woman loves child.
Yes, exactly. Woman in constituency has.
By the way, I do want to ask you, both of you, a point about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. I think it's very, very clear that we don't know how to deal with the Spurs.
No.
In the royal family. Now, I note that in Japan...
Spares.
I note that in Japan, what they do is they dispossess members of the royal family, and they have a process, which is when you get married, you marry a commoner, and then you get £1 million plus whatever your parents want to give you, and you cease to be a member of the royal family.
Yeah, that happened recently, didn't it? Was it a princess? Or
yes,
like that?
Prince Harry did that, didn't he?
It's most commonly. Look, I'm sorry, they won't buy new microphones. I don't care.
Should we take a little break?
No, we don't. We're just going to continue. I'll just punish them. Right, but so that did happen. It is most commonly with women. My own view is that we have to find these people jobs in government now, whether that's governor of somewhere.
Job.
My own view is leave them in the military.
I don't understand why Prince Harry in particular ever left the military.
Do you know what?
I don't understand it. He seemed happy there.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Prince Harry's job was to be Colonel-in-Chief of about 8 regiments? Yes, he'd just be superb.
Yeah. But again, I go back to the old quote of what idle hands make the devil's work. Yeah. This is how they get into trouble, is you don't have anything. They're not as cash rich as people like to think they are. They're still bound by political, the cages, the gilded cage. You've got to give them something to do.
Yeah, I think most so. Look, if you turn on your TV, so Prince Andrew, when he was Prince Andrew, was on $250,000 a year. Yeah. Now, let's just be clear. If you turn on your television, most people, and I don't include us in this, but most people are on significantly more than that.
Yeah.
Right. You know, Peter Kay, what's he worth? £40 million.
Yeah.
You know, you get somebody like, say, Hugh Edwards, 400,000 a year, and so. Perhaps a bad example, but the reality of Graham Norton, 2.5 million a year. I think Rinder's on 3 million a year.
Ridiculous, yeah.
But the point being that to you and me, to Pete Barnes, Asher Gould, Andre Walker, and the people watching this, $250,000 a year is a bloody good sniff.
Yeah.
In fact, it's beyond a good sniff.
Yes.
But I'm afraid when you are hanging around with people who, I've got a friend of mine that I worked with who has 125 sailors working for the family over his 7 yachts. Right.
Yeah.
He has in total, he has spent $1.5 billion on yachts alone. He never rents them out, and he only takes 10 days holiday a year.
What, the sailors?
Which means he doesn't have time to visit his yachts once a year. Now, so when you're talking about that phenomenal level of wealth, where you've got a Bugatti Veyron in each country you live in, because you live in 5.
It's in PR terms, it's what we call the problem of big numbers.
Yeah.
In other words, you don't have a concept as to that level of wealth.
Yeah. So Tony Blair's worth probably about £300 million, but his mates are all worth about 10 billion.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
The reality is, if what you're going to try and do is be a mega rich jet setter, I'm afraid your £250,000 from the royal family just ain't going to get it. And what you're going to do is you're going to become what I suspect Andrew Mountbatten Windsor will be found to have been, basically, and forgive the word here, but I use it for deliberate terms. Effectively, a financial slut who and I use that term deliberately. Who actually, in reality, is so desperate to keep up with the Joneses that you can basically pay him to do anything, and he'll just take the money.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how it's going to be found to be. And apologies if people are offended by the language, but I thought that was the most appropriate.
Yeah, I think
term
you're right
to
there.
use.
I think you're right. There's nothing really else to say. I think you put it perfectly. But yes, this microphone is now out of control.
Yeah. We're going to have to give up on this.
So we'll take a little breaky. 0344 499 1000. We'll be back after this with a new mic.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is the pay-per-view with Andre Walker, Asher Gould and Pete Barnes. Asher, what have you spotted?
I've spotted a Scotch Daily Record, and it's Loutlander. Actress brands town and armpit after BAMs target the film crew. Is that What's that BAMS mean?
I don't know.
Well, let me read the story. Outlander star Catriona Balfe has been blasted for branding a town an armpit. The actress spoke amid claims Ned's. I think that is a chaff.
Right. Tell you what we're going to have to do. Tell you what we're going to have to do. This is a channel for the whole country. What we're going to have to do is get our friends at the AI.
Yeah. I'll read that.
What we're going to do is we're going to say. We have read a headline in which actress brands town and armpit after BAMS target the film crew. It is a Scottish newspaper. What does BAMS mean? All right, Asher, continue.
The actress spoke amid claims Neds terrorises the crew in shots, or whatever Neds are.
Problem is, this might as well be in Japanese.
The BAMS and the Neds. I think it's two gangs, like, you know, the Bloods and the Crips. So there's the BAMS and the Neds.
All right.
Balfe,
it's a BAMPOT. A foolish, annoying, or aggressively stupid person.
Yeah, a barn pot.
Yeah.
It's BARM.
I thought a barn pot was what you had your chips in.
That's a barn cake.
Balfe, who played Claire Fraser alongside Sam Hugan in the drama, said the Lanarkshire town was her worst location shoot, but former Shots MSP Alex Neil invited her back so he could show her what it has to offer, saying, I think she's pretty ignorant of what Shots is really like, and I'm happy to enlighten her. What's Shots like? Is Shots...
I don't know, but I know that the TV series is absolutely massive.
Do you watch it?
I do, actually. Well, I watched a lot of it.
Outlander series.
Outlander. It's actually huge. He's done. I think he's actually done a lot for Scotland.
Can we just stop this podcast for a second?
Yes.
Right, Asher. Yeah. You could have picked any news story.
I know, yeah.
Why did you pick the one
that none of us...
we had no knowledge.
We got this... We've never had this...
I haven't done it. We did get the Daily Record.
There was stuff, I mean, it's not really...
Right, hang on a second.
I didn't prep for the Daily Record.
There is a heartwarming story about a father who'd lost his son in the military.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a very sad story.
But this Outlander about BAMS and armpits.
Yeah. And the Neds. No, the BAMS and the Neds. And if you're from Scotland, let us know what that is.
Yeah. If you're from Scotland, let us know.
Well, no. Right, but I do know that the series has done a lot for Scotland. So
what is the series?
It's about this. It's set in Scotland where the woman goes backwards in time to find.
Well, I remember the film Outlander.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's not that.
By the way, when we're talking about history, my favourite historical fact is this. If I ever met Danny Dyer, I would love to teach him about mathematics. Yeah. Because what he doesn't know is everyone from Britain is descended from William the Conqueror. I know. He genuinely thinks. He thinks, doesn't he?
I'm reliably informed that he thinks. I've had reports across my desk.
By the way, I absolutely loved his series about caravans.
I didn't.
Didn't you?
I didn't. Like, I would watch a thing called Danny Dyer about caravans.
Danny Dyer's Caravan Stories or whatever it was.
My lord.
He took over.
Anything will get a series.
It's really scraping the barrel, isn't it?
A little bit.
What would our series be, Asher?
This?
I don't know. I mean, we'll have to have a think about it. Youth hostling.
Youth hostling.
Why does that sound like a threat?
I'll tell you what would be funny. I've often thought about doing this. I've often thought about doing a travel show where... Basically, I've got a mate. Do you know Daniel Hamilton?
I do.
The former Tory candidate. He's a very good friend of mine. But he goes on holiday to all these weird places. He took me to the Golan Heights on holiday, and then he took me. I'm not joking. He took me to Stepanakert in Nagorno-Karabakh, the disputed Armenian territory.
I love how you say took you as though you were kind of kidnapped.
So he likes disputed territories.
Yeah.
But can I be honest with you? He could represent that show called Holidays in the Danger Zone. Right. But what I've always thought would be a great show was the way he's so enthusiastic about this. We were sat with the Georgian ambassador in Tbilisi eating, get this, pig's ears covered in tomato sauce, and he's going, "Oh, this is effing marvellous." It's dreadful. I've always thought it'd be great, a travel show where one person's really enthusiastic. Like, one of my mates took me to Colombia, and he's going, "Oh, isn't it amazing the way these people live?" Like, I'm going, "No, it's a dump. It's a dump." Right? The only reason they're smiling is because cocaine's cheap.
Yeah, you want the guy who used to do what was the cooking program? Do you know they used to go, "Come dine with me"?
Yeah.
Do you know he used to go, "That's not how you do it." Just like really sarcastically narrate over the top of it.
Yeah, he was good. He was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Is that still going, that show?
I have no idea. I presume it was massive when I was a kid.
My favourite was when Christopher Biggins was on Diamond Thing, and he just didn't give a toss. He just went to Waitrose, bought it all, and then went, "Did you make this hummus yourself?" And he goes, "Oh, of course I did. That's ridiculous." And he won.
Yeah.
Right, The Guardian, and Paint the Town Clarets. Birmingham welcomes back victorious Villa Stars and are straight back the next day celebrating just like they did back in 1982. So there we go, Kings of Europe.
So do us a favour. Look, I'm not a football fan. What has Villa done?
They've won the Euro Milk Cup. It's not the top cup, it's the second sort of tier cup, and it's a great win. It gets you qualification to the Champions League, which they qualified anyway by coming in the top 4, guaranteed pretty much. So they're guaranteed a place in that. And it's not since 1982 they've won a European trophy. That was the big one back in 82, and maybe next year we will.
So do you mind if I just ask the two of you about this thing on the side of the Guardian?
Single-sex toilets must exclude transgender people.
So this is the law. Right, the Supreme Court did not strike down anything. No. They merely confirmed.
They clarified the existing law.
I will be honest with you. I was with a very good friend of mine tonight. And for our purposes, just an ordinary lady who doesn't want to have a go at anyone, doesn't want to abuse anyone, doesn't want to shout abuse at anybody, and yet she said, "I'm afraid I don't want somebody with a, in my toilet. I just don't want to do it." She said it's not fair. But here is the critical question. Let's not bother end up having to read out lots of candidates again.
Yeah.
What say you to this conspiracy theory that the Labour Party are deliberately announcing lots of things in order to assist voters deciding in Makerfield?
Yeah.
Let's just
create a certain outcome.
Let's just say assist voters deciding.
I didn't believe a lot of it at first, but one...
Well, let's just stick generally.
One is an accident, two is a pattern.
Yeah.
Because I think you have the Brexit issue and you have this. It is convenient that we have been waiting on this for months. It has been sat on Bridget Phillipson's desk for a very long time.
By the way,
it is rather convenient.
By the way, I think we can bring clarity to this. That clearly, one of the big issues that's going to face us, I think, going forward, is. If you like, social conservatism, and this is not the Conservative Party.
Yes,
ignore that. Social conservatism versus social liberalism. I saw Maurice Lord Glassman, Blue Labour, talking about how he feels very, very strongly about strong borders and all this sort of thing. Clearly there is now a dispute in this country. The battle lines are drawn between those people who believe in open borders, nothing wrong with that if you believe in it. Those people who believe in the rights of transgender people, nothing wrong with that if you believe in it, and those people who clearly everybody knows I'm one of, who believe the opposite. But it's interesting that these positions are being clarified by the government.
Yeah, it is.
Just in order to assist the voters of Makerfield in understanding what will happen, which way they vote.
Yes, and it's not just in Makerfield where this is being a battle line. It's also other people that could be challenging for number 10. For example, Mr. Streeting has got caught out in this particular issue. Though I did find it interesting that he announced the other day that he's not going to run if Andy Burnham wins. So I don't understand what he's even doing. Though it's Streeting.
Pete,
I never.
Pete, think about what you've just done. Now.
I know.
Those two words mean he has to read out that list again.
All right, do I have to read the list out again?
Yeah. Sorry.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just explain something before Asher gets the list up. Clearly, we do not want to affect the result of any election. We are here merely to commentate. But the minute you mention one candidate, you've got to mention.
So here are the candidates for the Makerfield election: Andy Burnham, Labour Party. Let's stop talking about that now. Andy Burnham, Labour Party; Alan Howland, Lord Hope, official Monster Raven, Looney Party; Robert Kenyon, Reform UK; Rebecca Shepherd, Restore Britain; Michael Winstanley, the Conservative Party.
By the way, just to be clear to everybody, I thought I could rely on you.
I know. As it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, stop talking. I thought it was
in the Guardian.
By the way, listen. Asher rarely gets angry, but that's his angry face.
No. I'm cool. Like
He's going, shut up.
London Mayor blocks the Met AI's deal with controversial tech firm. The Met Police deal, as controversial US tech company Palantir has been blocked by Sadiq Khan, sparking a bit of row between the Mayor and Scotland Yard after the UK's largest police force wanted to use Palantir's AI technology, automate intelligence analysis in criminal investigations. Khan cites serious concerns about how the deal has been struck. The Mayor's office said there had been a clear and serious breach of procurement rules, said police had only seriously considered one supplier. But The Guardian reported the decision. Scotland Yard criticised the block as disappointing, warning that without the new technology it would have to cut officer numbers, which would affect the force's number. He said they must share the values of our city. I mean, he's not one to tell us what our values are.
No, I'm really sorry. I'm on Sadiq Khan's side. What? I'll tell you why I'm on.
What's in that cup?
I'll tell you why I'm on Sadiq Khan's side, because Sadiq Khan is the Police and Crime Commissioner for London. It's entirely legitimate for him to make a decision like this.
Yes.
It is not legitimate for the Metropolitan Police to start slagging him off.
I will agree with you.
It's not for him to tell us what our values are. They're not his values.
There is a big problem, though, is that Palantir have a huge deal with the Department of Health. And that was put through by the Conservatives, and Wes Streeting signed it off just before he's finished being the health secretary. So this company has already got Whitehall's sign-off.
Yeah.
So, I'm agreeing with you on this point. But this is my point: is that they need to make their mind up. You cannot have them being a problem in one situation and them not being a problem in another.
But Sadiq Khan is so Palantir is basically a defence firm.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So essentially, what the Met is proposing to do, rightly or wrongly, is to use a sophisticated defence firm to try and predict who's going to be involved in crimes and effectively.
Like that Tom Cruise film.
Yeah. Now, there are good points and bad points about that. Clearly, it will reduce the amount of work that the police have to do. It will also involve handing over data to a company based in the United States of America who also works for the CIA.
Yes, that is the bigger
Pentagon.
Problem. Yeah. Now, all of those decisions can be weighed up. Look, I believe Sadiq Khan's to see you next Tuesday. I've openly said that multiple times. However, I think the Met should shut its mouth, because it is a perfectly legitimate decision to say, I don't want to.
Do you think it's not a political decision? Is this not part of Trump derangement syndrome? Aren't they friends? You know, with
I would like because Khan's problem is somebody that no other company was considered. That seems a little thin to me.
Well,
because who else would you open it up to?
Exactly, it's a very specialised, advanced.
Therein lies the problem. By the way, can I tell you about the problem?
You don't want the Chinese doing it.
Can I tell you the Samsung AI problem? So, when you open up your phone, you've got your AI. This is fine, and people go, "Oh my God, I put an employment contract in it, and it flagged up the issues." Right, you have to understand what you're doing. You're not doing a Google search.
Yeah.
You're submitting that contract to an American tech company. Nothing wrong with that necessarily. But then what you will notice for things like all of them, whether it be Claude, whether it be OpenAI, ChatGPT rather, all of them will learn AI based on what you tell it.
Yes.
So if you give it your contract of employment forever will be the subject of advice to anyone else who asks.
Yes.
So if somebody were to ask, so if I was to take a News UK contract and upload it to ChatGPT and say, what do you think of this News UK contract? And it would give me an answer. But then, if Bob Jones, living down the street, were to say, tell me about News UK's employment contract, it would use my actual confidential contract to advise them. Samsung, 3 employees uploaded colossal amounts of confidential data to ChatGPT. I will tell you what the problem is here, on a serious note. If you want sovereignty, there is just going to have to be this stuff domiciled in the UK.
Yeah.
You can't. I remember when I worked.
We haven't got the technology.
When I worked in local government, we wanted to move from having all these crap computer systems that are written by Capita. I mean, why we still work with those people? Dreadful. But we wanted to move on to Google products in the cloud. The problem is Google is based in the United States of America, and when we we didn't do it. Had we uploaded all of your council tax details, we would be surrendering it to a foreign jurisdiction.
Without a doubt. We talk a lot about that kind of border security. We don't talk about digital borders. And it is literally the next frontier. Because it's just being completely slept on by this government.
Can I say to the two of you, so the people at home are going to watch and listen to this and feel a bit stupid after what I've just said. How many confidential documents have you shared with AI? Because we've all done it.
It's not even a matter of AI. I mean, it's watching you through the cameras. I mean, the other day I was talking about WD-40 to Kev, telling him, it stands for water displacement 40. We had a chat about it. And then on my feed on YouTube, WD-40. And then not only that, the other day I was walking around here and there was a cleaner and they had one of those sort of long arm things to pick up paper. And I've never seen a cleaner with that before. And when I got home, there was adverts for that thing. So it's obviously looking in the cameras, and it's really getting all your data. So we live in a world now where really you can't even hide yourself.
But here was the remarkable thing, even on a non-confidential basis. Asher and I have told this story multiple times, but we started having this weird thing. So. Just to explain, whilst Asher and I are friends in a sense, we don't see each other on a regular basis. We spend 6 hours a week talking to each other anyway, right? We do see each other socially. But we only see each other socially every now and again, right? We'd come in and we both love YouTube documentaries and watch a huge number of them, which is why we've got the knowledge we've got. Very often we'd end up watching the same documentaries, and it was because YouTube were recommending the same things to us, because whatever it was that we were talking about on the show, whatever we were doing, the algorithm had locked.
Yeah, but also WhatsApp, it knows we're friends. On WhatsApp, it knows you're in the same room. It knows you've just met with that Thursday and Friday. It's all like a spider's web, isn't it? You know what I mean? Anyway, we're going through the papers with Pete Barnes. It's me and Andre 0344.
Hey, by the way, give us a taste at the midnight thing.
499 at midnight. If you've got any personal problem, remember the Anna Raven show. If you're young, you won't remember it, but she was an agony aunt, and I'll be doing the same thing, but better at what she did. You got any problems? Relationship, work problems, food problems, anything. I can deal with it, and I'll have a go at it anyway.
I'll have a go.
It'll probably help, and it might not. But anyway, give it a go. 03444991000. You can leave us a WhatsApp voice message with your problem on if you want. But give us a ring. 03444991000. Ask Ash. That's after midnight. But book your call now. We'll be back with more papers, and don't forget. It's Jeremy Carr with your breakfast, Great British Breakfast Alarm Clock Britain. Isn't that what the show's called? Tune into Jeremy Carr's Alarm Clock Breakfast Great Britain, because that'll be coming up if you're listening in the morning. It's Andre and Ash, and we'll be back after this.
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
This is the press preview with Andre Walker, Pete Barnes, and Asher Gould in no particular order. I thought this was a really interesting thing on the front page of the Metro.
Yes, this is.
I find this grossly dishonest, actually. Net migration, right? Remember, is the number of people coming in and the number of people going out. We all know there has been a colossal increase in the number of people leaving the country, right? Remember, the more people leave the country and the more people come in, the more basically the population is being replaced with foreigners. Now,
yes.
whether you like that or not,
yeah, it's just a fact.
When you go, well, net migration is down. Yes, because more people have left.
Yeah.
Good quality people.
That is part of that. That is the bigger bit of the story. It's just who's leaving and who is coming in.
Are we? Is it reasonable to say? So I think a lot of people in politics will say the concern is numbers and overwhelming public services. Am I allowed, Pete, to say I think changing the culture of the country is also a problem? I do not love the fact that Nelson in Lancashire used to have lots of British people, white people, Christian people, whatever you want, and it is now predominantly an Urdu-speaking area.
Yeah, I actually think it's a bigger problem.
Yeah, that's the problem that most people are concerned about, not economic. And that's what about Brexit, they said. People weren't worried. We knew the economy would suffer a bit, not like it would, but people are more worried about the culture more than anything. It's losing the country.
It is also the change and the speed of the change.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that you close the door, you open it back up again, and it looks like a different country.
Well, that's what's
happening.
happening.
The bit that has really
because you meant to drip feed immigration in, and then they blend in, and that's what happened for 100 years.
Yeah. I will tell you something, and people laugh at this, although less so when they go to Makerfield. Let's not mention any of the candidates. You know, when I was a little boy growing up in Loughton, as I say, the Chinese family owned the chip shop. I'm not taking the Chinese family owned the chip shop. You know, the Hong Kong Chinese came over. The Indian family, she was the doctor. Yeah. And there was a black kid who was adopted. Now, look. First of all, I'm going to say something about where I grew up. You know what? We weren't racist bigots who were manning the barricades saying we don't want any Pakistanis here. It wasn't like that. No. We were just a British village. Yeah. Right? I think, and when I went to school, now bear in mind I went to an Irish Catholic school, so it's slightly different, but in my class, there was one Spanish boy, and that was it. Yeah, that was the sum total. Now it's Catholic rather than Church of England, so get that. But basically, there were. I mean, I was probably the biggest foreigner because my dad's half Greek, right? and then foreign. And then there was Bermudas, the Spaniards. And literally, I mean. And this shouldn't have happened. I mean, as it happened, the Spanish kid was my best friend, but the Spanish kid was mocked for being very foreign. Now you look round. And it's not so much the colour of people's skin, because I've always said, if you look at the Caribbean, you know, I mean, look, they're so British. They do GCSEs and A-levels. I mean, my mate's the regimental sergeant major of the Coldstream Guard from Jamaica. I mean, he's just completely British, to be honest. It's not the colour of people's skin. It's the fact that, the places feel foreign. Now it doesn't bother me whether your colour of foreign is South American or your colour of foreign is Afghan or your colour of foreign is Japanese. Can you imagine if you went to Burnley and suddenly nobody spoke English because they're all Japanese? Yeah. I mean, it's not a racism issue, is it?
No, it's not, and it is the
nothing to do with race.
For me, it is the incompatibility of certain cultures putting together. Like, you know,
doesn't matter whether they're white, black,
no,
whatever.
It doesn't matter
it's the
at
culture.
all. And it is how willing you are to integrate into the home nation that you want to be in. And I would say the same thing, that if you're British and you live in a different country, you should adapt your way of life to that country.
But if I now decided, and by the way, we are apparently all anti-colonial, if I said, right, I am going to buy a district of Islamabad, and every single person that moves into this district of Islamabad will be a British Christian, we are going to ban the Quran, We are going to open up a Christian school. We're going to convert the local mosque into a church.
I don't think you should do this.
Right.
No.
Let's just be clear. Asher, that would end badly.
Yes, it would.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
I'd like to see how
but
far
they
we
have
get.
the right. I respect. They have the right to decide.
Correct.
That you and it's the same in Spain. If they decide they don't want the British, they have the right to say get back to Britain.
But I don't understand how we can turn around and say we don't believe in colonisation and then allow Burnley to be colonised.
Well, that's the thing. Once you get, to the saturation point where they don't need to change, and it's basically like their community over here. That's the trouble with mass immigration. When we had small drip feeding, everyone blended in.
And that's the key word, Ash, is it is mass. It's just the sheer number of people in a very short amount of time, and you're suddenly demanding everybody be okay with it. You can't just demand people who have lived in a community for generations suddenly be okay with it changing literally overnight.
Can I look? This is going to play out on Friday morning, so I want to talk about football a little bit because of don't panic.
Oh God.
Because of the Champions League. Now, just to set this up for those of you that aren't football fans, the most valuable football match in English football is the playoffs to be promoted from the Championship to the Premier League, which is basically the second division to the first division, if you like. Yeah. Now, that match is happening either. Well, let's call it Saturday.
About £250 million.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because obviously you get all of the money from all the TV rights and whatever.
Wow.
Look, Southampton have pleaded guilty to the allegation of spying on opponents. There is a rule within the Football Association which says you cannot film or covertly record or witness preparation 72 hours before a football match.
Okay. That makes sense.
Southampton have not just admitted to doing this to Middlesbrough before the quarter-final, if you like. It's not quite called that, but okay. But they have admitted to doing it multiple times. Just your instinct as a politico, Pete. They've been thrown out of this match, and Middlesbrough, who they beat, will go to face Hull on Saturday. I've got to be honest with you, I think that is the right decision.
Yeah, I'll just on the surface of that explanation, yes, that seems like the right thing to do. Yeah. Again, not an expert. I didn't know football could be that interesting, I have to admit.
It's a silly mistake.
Well,
not a mistake.
But I think that's what it's not. That's not a mistake. That is you know the rule. You did the very opposite.
Of course, the slight problem is the Football Association's ruling comes after the tickets went on sale for Wembley. So there are now, one would assume, 20,000 Southampton fans who have tickets to a Middlesbrough game.
And the thing is, they'll probably get rid of their manager, who was doing a great job. It's just a very unfortunate situation. I think they're going to have to get rid of it.
Is it one of those the buck stops here situations?
Well, he did it. So.
Here is why the Football Association, I think, will have decided to do this. Leeds United were done for spying as well, and they received a financial penalty. Ben Fletcher last week said that he thinks that Southampton would be keen to pay around 100 million to apologise.
Yeah.
Problem is now, getting into the Premier League is so valuable that Middlesbrough's argument is, if you find them 100 million, then everybody would do it, because that's exactly what he did to Leeds, and Leeds just went, who gives a toss? We'll just pay the bill. I think look, I think you've got a choice. You either allow this level of spying or you throw people out.
I think this is the point, the big thing in football, isn't it? When you can literally just buy your way out of a situation, the rule book doesn't mean anything. The punishment has to be on the extreme end, because a soft fine doesn't mean anything. Yeah. You know, and I think that's the big thing when it comes to any kind of big business or big football clubs or whatever. When you could literally just sign a cheque and the problem goes away. It's not a punishment.
And I think it is legitimate for Middlesbrough to have said the following: you gave Leeds an enormous fine, and actually didn't discourage Southampton. And in reality, what Southampton basically said is this is custom and practice. Yeah. Now, funnily enough, I'm mates, as you know, with the Hull assistant manager, and I asked him, is this commonplace? And he said, it's not so much it's commonplace, there are rumours that this goes on. But no responsible management team would do it.
No.
but clearly there is pressure to do it. I think the English Football League were right.
By the sounds of it,
I was shocked they did it.
I didn't even know this story existed, but I think just on the surface of that, I think that is the right decision. But again, I go back to the point that if you can buy your way out of a punishment, it is not a punishment. You then have to, if you've done something this egregious, you have to have a very strong line.
Of course. What we're now all hoping for multiple reasons is Hull wins.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine the following? Hull were prepping to play Southampton. Yeah. Right, and now aren't playing Southampton, so their whole plans have gone to the dogs.
Yeah,
and Middlesbrough, having been beaten, actually end up in the Premier League. I think it's just in everyone's interest for Hull to win.
I think so, by the sounds of it. Yeah, I actually didn't even know that was happening this weekend, so that's how out of date I am.
It's going to be really interesting. I think because it's been such a huge scandal, it's going to be a big match.
Anyway, look, Jeremy Kyle's coming up. If you're listening in the morning, so we got to head off. If you're listening in the morning, listen to Breakfast Alarm Clock. Great Britain with Jeremy Kyle after this. Right, Pete, continue, please.
Yes,
Pete, what? Yeah. I mean, your final thoughts. Don't mention.
I won't mention that. I would say I would be very sceptical of this headline on immigration, about the kind of the cutting and the net migration stuff, because the Labour Party are going to run with this and say, look how wonderful we are. We did this. We started doing this. This policy started in 2023 under the Conservatives and James Cleverly. That is where this policy.
By the way, here's my final thought. Here is my final thought. As a result of Jeffrey Epstein, virtually every police force in the country is investigating stuff related to him.
Yeah.
Let's not get giddy last time, because last time with all the old celebrities, some good was done, a lot of harm was done.
A lot of harm was done. But
let's not get excitable. Epstein is dead. Let's just be clear.
Thanks, Pete. That was brilliant. 03444991000.
You're next.
Phone in. You want any advice? Ask Ash after midnight. Me and Andre on tour. Back up to the
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, man, it's Talk. Andre's gone off somewhere, but now it's Ask Ash. If you got any questions, you can ask me any advice. A bit like that Anna Rayburn show that was on Talk back in the 90s. There's going to be a rocket taking off. We're going to have live coverage of it. Is it in half an hour? What is this rocket? Is it a SpaceX thing? Is it? Is it space? What is it? Well, apparently there's some rocket taking off, and yeah, it's SpaceX. Yeah, but what is the signal? Why we're getting a live take up half an hour? What I find is more amazing with these rockets is that it's taking off. I mean, that's pretty obvious. You stick a load of stuff in it and then fly it off. It's the way they land backwards down. That looks like witchcraft the way they do that now. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's have a chat to Cindy, who's in Pigeon. Yeah, because they have funny names like that in America. And by the way, people say my neck's white and my face is darker. It's because I fell asleep in the blazing sun like that today. That's all it is. Hi, Cindy.
Hey, Ash. How are you?
Morning. So it's still that I'm all right. It's Thursday still where you are, isn't it? And now it's Friday here.
It is. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It is. It's
Americans, ridiculous. So what's up, man?
Yeah, we're just so ridiculous.
You are, aren't you, with your Americans' funny spelling and your funny ways? But we love you.
I wanted to ask you about weight. Let's talk about losing weight here. Yeah. Okay, so far I've lost 31 pounds, right?
Yeah, that's what. That's about nearly 2 stone. That's over 2 stone in proper weights and measures. Yeah.
Mhm.
How have you done that? Just through willpower, or have you had the Manjaro or whatever it's called?
Well, I've been actually working out.
Right. Yeah.
I do take Manjaro for my A1C, but it doesn't work the way that it works for other people.
Well, it's best to lose it. And what are you doing? Do Jane Fonda work out aerobics, or is it more weights and stuff like that?
I'm doing cardio. I have an elliptical machine here in my living room.
What's an elliptical? Is that like with your hands and legs
like
at the same
time? Hands and legs at the same time.
You see, I think people get it wrong with all this cardio. I think you should do more weights, because I think that, more, free weights and machines, because then you get bigger muscles and the metabolism. And also it's really knackering and boring doing all that, cycling and running.
Okay.
So try that out.
How many pounds of weights should I start on?
I don't know. 25, 30 in each hand? No, I don't know. Why are you asking me? I'm not qualified. Oh, right, yeah, it's Ask Ash. Right, no, I reckon about £15 in each
fired.
One. Like the equivalent of a big baby. A big baby would be £15, a couple of one in each arm.
Okay. And, in how much time should
How's things with the older husband? Everything all right in that department?
Yeah,
right,
he's
tick that
good.
box, yeah.
He mowed the lawn today.
He mowed the lawn, and do you reward him?
Yes.
Is that because a lot of wives, and this is how it becomes, a reward and take away? Are you one of those women that takes it away and rewards? You've basically got him trained and controlled.
And I reward him with my presence, Ash.
Oh, you do, that's true. And us, you do as well. So what's going on, man? Is it all right in America?
Well, it's going kind of crazy at the moment. There was a mosque in San Diego that was shot up.
Yeah, I heard about that. There was 3 people killed, weren't there?
Yeah, and one security guard and 2 people were the suspects. Murder, suicide, something like that. Isn't that insane?
These days it's terrible. It's not that shocking, is it? This is what's happening in this world.
And also, I hope that Lois is listening, because I wanted to ask her if she's doing any work in America.
Well,
because I love the work that she's doing. I'm talking about, because I don't know.
Well, if you're listening, Lois, let us know. But she does go around the world and everything, so yeah. So
well, I want to let her know.
Are you inviting her over? Are you?
Well, yes, in the sense I want to let her know that if she does any work in the States, that I authorize my details to be given to her. I'd love to get arrested with her. Okay. Seriously.
Thanks,
and
Cindy.
I would.
That's brilliant. So, Lois, if you're listening, Cindy is offering to get arrested with you. Let's go to Karen, who's in the London area, it says here. Karen.
Yeah, hi. I'm ready.
Okay, brace yourself.
Well, I'm going to ask him what's wrong with me, because I'm a Jewish woman.
Okay, we're going to put you on air.
Is that okay? Can I ask that?
Yeah. When you hear Ash laughing, you'll be on air.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Let's go to Karen in the London area. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Ash.
All right. Yeah, what's up?
Well...
What's up, man?
Well...
Are you listening to the radio?
No.
You are, aren't you? You're telling me porcupines?
Someone turn...
You can hear yourself, can't you? TV?
Put the phone upstairs.
Put the phone upstairs.
Put the phone down. Yeah, sorry, we've got the phone upstairs.
It's all right, we'll just hang out and just wait until it's all...
Can you put it on the...
On the cradle. Put the thing on there.
Hi.
Hi, yeah, Karen.
Hello.
What's up, man? What's up? You in a party? You having a party?
No. Somebody's talking over me. I
It's very rude of them.
No.
Sounds like you. It sounds like you talking.
No,
you got
I'm
the
not.
TV on. It's like
talking.
deja vu. Who's got the telly on?
I've got the TV on. Shall I turn it off?
Well, you turn it down.
Okay.
We'll just wait. We'll just hang out.
Hi.
Hi, Karen in the London area. How can I help you, Karen?
Well, the guy that just rang me from your programme
Yes.
said that I had to tell you that what was wrong with me.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, I had to
Oh, because this is my section, Ash, where I can help you. Ask Ash. Yeah, what's wrong, Karen? What's up?
Right, so I'm going to ask you something now.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me? I'm a Jewish woman, and I want to know what's wrong with that.
And what?
Being Jewish.
What's? You're a Jewish woman, and what? What was the next thing you said?
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, you said there was.
No, because you've asked me, like they said, say that I've got a problem. Either I've got, the flu, I might have AIDS, God forbid, anything. So I'm just saying, well, okay, I'm going to ask what a lot of people feel now.
Yeah.
What is wrong with us?
I see, the anti-Semitism problems.
Sorry about bringing that up again. I know it's a bit, dumb.
No, well, it's it's that old chestnut, isn't it? We've basically got a lot more anti-Semitism in the country. We've imported it, and it's joined up with the few that were here, and they think, this is what's happening, and they need to get a grip of it and sort it out. There was a guy beaten up in Golders Green by 6 masked men at 2 a.m. just because they heard him speaking, Ivrit, Israeli, outside on the street. So... This is we've got Jewish comedians being banned from Edinburgh Festival. Nothing to do with Israel, not Zionists, just normal sort of comedians. They're a bloke and this girl. They were banned because they were Jewish from the Edinburgh Festival. And this is like reminiscent of 1930s.
Well, so hang on, stop right there, because I spoke to you about a year ago.
Yeah.
And I said to you that this feels like 1930s. I also went on about I've got 2 sons that are doctors and this and that, and you went...
Well, they're doctors.
And you went, hey. You were very, very funny.
The doctors, no.
You were very, very funny, okay. You made a remark. And I said to you, this feels like it's going to go into the 1930s. And you said, no, it will never be like that. Well,
no,
actually,
I didn't say that.
No.
I would have agreed with you.
No, at that time, you said to me that that was a kind of overreach.
Well, I just still think that is. It's not like Nazi Germany. I think I vaguely remember, but it's still not Nazi Germany here, let's face facts. But it has, it's in the universities. As I said, Jews banned, Jewish comedians banned. It's sort of like that. It's got the taste of that.
So my father-in-law, my late father-in-law, was actually... in Vienna, and friends of his were thrown out, medical friends of his were thrown out of windows, etc.
Yeah, exactly. It's not got to that stage, has it?
No, but
Thank God.
But I have friends who've got kids in universities. My own children were in universities. Thank God they're not there now.
Yeah.
And they work in the NHS, and it is virulent. And
in the NHS, it's terrible. In the BBC, you can't really be Jewish and work there. It's like you can't have a comedy in the Edinburgh Festival. I mean, it really is bad. It's not got, obviously, to the bad stage, but this is, it's got to be reversed, or it will get to...
I don't understand that. I'm talking to you on the phone and having this conversation, but on the television, you're talking to somebody else. I don't think we're...
it's like probably another, like a quantum physics. It's a different frequency. People are listening to a different show. No, it's because there's a bit of a delay, in case you get, potty mouth.
I really want to ask you this, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it is bad. I mean, it's very, very bad. Friends won't go into London. It's horrible.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. So your colleague asked me to say what was my affliction. You know, I needed to say to you, so my affliction is, look, I'm Jewish, I'm in the UK, you know, what is the solution?
Yeah, I mean, how old are your sons? Are they in their 30s or something, for the doctors, I'm guessing?
Right, so they're, let me just think, between 30 and 40.
So, I mean, they're obviously highly qualified people. They could move anywhere in the world, and presumably they've got young children, so they'll be thinking about that. Are they thinking... I know a guy, an anaesthetist, who's just moved to Florida. Are they thinking of leaving?
Well... I don't
you get a lot better pay as well. I mean, it's a lot better life if you're a doctor, you know, in the States or Australia.
They don't want to leave. Why should they leave?
Well, yes, I know, but they've got to think about their children.
They spent all those years training them. You know, you know, they're working in A&E and paediatric hematology, and they're doing all sorts of like specialist stuff that the NHS has paid for them to train in. Why? What good is that if they have to go?
Well, that happens anyway. A lot of it, and I think they should have to sign a contract. But this is a different reason, isn't it?
They're not thinking of going away. They're not thinking. They don't want to go away. They like.
Yeah, but they might have to. If things get really bad, you know, you've got to be practical and think about these things.
And you're the guy that told me about over a year ago that this isn't Nazi Germany.
I don't think it is. I mean, we're not there yet, but it's got the taste of it.
Hang on, sorry, with respect, if you're saying to me that they might have to think about leaving, what are you actually saying?
What I'm saying is it could get to that stage, but we're not at that stage. But we can see it's got the taste and the feel of that. Because this is how it started in the 1930s. It started at the universities, then, you know, performers couldn't work here, you know, shops are getting attacked. So, you know, but people aren't getting thrown out. Obviously, there were people killed in the synagogue, so, you know, but it's not a mass thing now. It's not a mass population thing. But, you know, it could get there, couldn't it? People are scared and paranoid, and maybe it's not paranoid. Maybe it's right to be, because there's a lot of people being imported who you know, haven't got our best interests at heart. But, you know, we're not there yet, and obviously we're not, because your sons are still staying, but it must be in the back of their mind.
Well, you know, it's really, I didn't really, it's a privilege to speak to you. I wouldn't normally have brought up this subject, but I couldn't think of an affliction that I wanted to put on myself.
No, but I mean, the other good thing, and you know, Adam, producer, pointed out, you know, the British people overall aren't represented by this elite and all these institutions that have been, I think 90%, and we saw in Eurovision, Israel winning the public vote across the world. I think 80-90% of the British people are on the right side. It's just the people in control. Everything has been taken control of, from the police, the universities, the governments, the civil service, everything, the charities, the media. Very few media telling the truth, but overall the British people are strong and have always come through adversity, so hopefully we will be able to overcome all this and get back to how it should be.
Well, from your lips to God's ears.
Thank you. Thanks, Karen.
Thank you very much.
Right, let's go to Mike. It's got his surname. Should we say his surname? No, we won't say it. Mike.
I've told her not to shave her bloody legs in that sink. I've told... Oh, sorry. Hello?
Right. Hi, Mike. She put all her hairs in the sink.
Don't bloody shave you. I told you, those bloody hairy sides, and when I've got my Gillette, it bloody breaks my neck. She's got her own shaver.
Yeah, well, they're better than men's ones, aren't they? It's sexist.
She's got her own bloody shaver. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but they're pink, aren't they? But I think it's
bloody shaving in that bloody sink.
So is that the problem that you've called about?
It's disgusting shaving in that bloody sink. Sorry, Asher, my question is this.
She's Andre.
I've got hemorrhoids.
Oh, no, but there is... I've seen the medication, Anusol. Anusol is the medication. Do you not...
And when it gets under your nail, you can't get it out. What I have to do is... I have to use...
Use nothing. We've got the ring for you to sit on, and... Anyway, that's Mike. Come back to work. You've had your fun. It's Talk with Andre and Ash. Thanks for all those questions. Hope that's dealt with everything to your satisfaction, and we'll be back. You're listening to and watching Talk. Hello to all the viewers and listeners. We'll be back after this.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, 03444991000. He's obviously having a bit of trouble in there. Let's have a look. Let's go to... is Jasmine ready? She's not ready yet, is she? Jasmine, can you make her ready? Jasmine, the witch in Manchester. No, she's not there yet. Let's have a look at the texts. Only Labour supporters could celebrate an exodus of young British talent that reduces net immigration and price controls on basic food items because the people are skint. Love.
Hang on a second. Right. What's been going on here? What's been going on here?
No, it's been fantastic, actually. It's been really good. I helped a lot of people with a lot of problems. They're sorted out. She's gone. What happened to Yasmin?
Now, I've heard...
We sorted out a lot of problems there. A lot of the...
there was a chap who had terrible problems with his hemorrhoids, I think.
Yeah, we sorted that out. Another happy, satisfied customer.
So I've caused mayhem.
Graham in Edinburgh says, Neds and BAMs, a definition, they vary in the same way as anywhere else. Ned is a chav and a BAM is somebody of low intelligence. One thing is for sure, Shots is shite. Drug-addled and lacking that little bit of sophistication you'd expect of leafy Glasgow suburb. I hope this helps.
So Asha, I've got to tell you, I've caused some problems.
What's that?
Here's what I did. As you know, I left the studio in order to let you take some calls, and then I attempted to make a fake call myself under the name Mike. Yeah. Whilst I did that, I was answering calls in the green room, in the anteroom, in the control room. I also got control of the producer's email and emailed all the managers at Talk with the word R.
Really?
They all tuned in to find me not present.
Oh, yeah.
So hello to the management of Talk. This is the fun we have late at night. Anyway, what is your advice for people who've got hemorrhoids?
What is that cream? Have you seen?
Anusol.
Anusol, yeah. Yasmin the witch.
Hiya, darling.
Get us out of this, Yasmin.
Yasmin, what's your prediction for what management are going to say tomorrow after my poor behaviour this evening?
I saw a few blue words. Have you got a very...
Hey, no, Yasmin, I want to ask you something really, really, really serious. So, we've had this long conversation. As you know, Danielle Nichols is married to Dean Holden. Dean Holden is the assistant manager of Hull City. Desperate for Hull to get into the Premier League. I'm not a massive football fan, as you well know. What can the tarot cards, can the the spirits or whatever tell us who's going to win? Is there any...
Tell us who's going to win, Yasmin, if you're that good. Who's going to win the playoff final? Come on, then.
Who's it between?
Well, you should know that. We shouldn't have to tell you that.
It's between Leeds United and Hull City.
Hull City.
Well, it's lucky you didn't say Leeds because it's between Middlesbrough.
What's the score going to be? Who's the goal scorer? Come on, we need specifics.
Just to be clear, Yasmin, is it possible to make this sort of prediction accurately?
Yeah.
Well, so can you do whatever it is that you do?
I've done it before.
What's that? Tell us the score and the goal scorers.
Okay, so do us a favour. Do whatever it is that you need to do now to give us a proper prediction with perhaps the scores and the winner.
The goal scorers, the minutes when it was scored, everything, free kicks.
How much time will that take you?
Away you go.
I'm seeing 2-1.
2-1 to Hull?
Yeah.
Is that within the 90 minutes? Goal scorers, please, as well.
Goal scorers, you could make up any name, we wouldn't know.
I've got 95 minutes.
95 minutes, so you're saying it's going to be 2-1 to Hull with 5 minutes extra time.
So in injury time there'll be
No, there'll be 8 minutes extra time.
So that's interesting because that does
in injury time there'll be
that does happen.
Whoever they're playing or whatever, one of them, I feel they might go down to 10 men, one team.
Imagine if this happens tomorrow. You'll be a star, Yasmin. If it doesn't, though, you're finished in this business, Yasmin. You're finished, I tell you.
No, I'm not. I'll never.
Oh, so you're saying you might be wrong?
I think we've got to be fair-minded, right?
I'm telling you just what I got told.
No, Yasmin.
Don't use that. You like Keir Starmer. That's what they told me.
This team
spirits.
is a blue strip.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll tell you what we're going to do.
Blue strip.
No, Yasmin, stop for a second.
Chelsea.
Yasmin, stop for a second.
No,
right. Just to be clear, if and I think Asha, the producers may well
this is make or break for you.
If Hull City win 2-1
with the
second goal in injury time,
95 minutes,
then I think what we have to do to reward you is next Thursday at midnight. We've got to get you on Zoom, right, so you can actually take calls from people. Because if Hull City win 2-1 in injury time, that would be so.
I mean, I think you to get a job, you know, like the Mystic Meg of sport with the Sun, if you get this right. If you don't know, as I say, you're finished in this business. You know, we know people. You won't work again. So what's your next? What's any other predictions?
Oh yeah, Ash, I did see you moving house or moving where you live in. I could see you bare-chested with boxer shorts.
That was me, moving boxes.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
I use that as an excuse.
With loads of stuff and moving.
Yeah, that's right.
To be fair, when he walks around his house, and I think you're not unique in this respect, sometimes he does walk around in his boxer shorts without wearing a top. I don't think that's controversial, is it, Asha?
No, it's not.
Well, you walk around naked, Andre, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what if there's a fire and you have to go outside?
Well, if there's a fire, I mean, I don't know.
No, because you have to run outside.
If there was a fire, then at least my clothes wouldn't go up.
That's a good point. Yeah.
No, I've got to be honest with you. You're in bed. You want. If I'm being honest,
you want air to get there. Yeah.
If I'm being honest, you want a Mr. Freeze ice pop, which is my favourite food. Then you get up in the middle of the night and don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm not a nudist.
Well, you have Mr. Freeze in the bed, do you?
I eat Mr. Freeze in bed.
Oh, also, there's a place where Andre's going, and I know it sounds crazy, but it's St. Clement's, because I can hear that.
The bells of St. Clement's. Where is St. Clement's? I don't even know.
It's just over Waterloo Bridge, the St. Clement of Dane. It's just at the end of Waterloo Bridge. It's not one of the island churches next to the BBC.
Do you know what?
Bush House.
I bought an ecclesiastical item. But
they used to sell oranges down there, by the way.
I bought an ecclesiastical item ages ago, but it was from an auction where when I discovered the cost of getting to the actual shop, it was like 200 quid on the train to get there. But I bought, listen to this, the St. Olave's Parish Bible. Now, you won't know, but St. Olave's Parish is here. It's this building.
That's right, yeah.
And it cost me like 8 quid. And then I thought, I'm not spending £200 going on the train to get it. It'll just have to be re-auctioned. But anyway.
There's a lot of ghosts here because, you know, this is number one London. This is number one London Bridge, this, Yasmin, and there's a lot of people buried under the ground here. And this I've seen ghosts here, Yasmin.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell thee.
Andre's got a monk following him.
Well, have I?
He dressed.
Could it be just I've got a bit of a bald patch on the top?
Yeah, could that be it?
That could be from a past life, because I think
it's not from a past life, it's from getting old.
You've never said that before. There's a monk follower, you never mention it. I mean, that's quite a serious allegation.
I've just seen it. He's got a monk following him, but the monk isn't in black or grey. He's in brown.
Well, they all wear brown cassocks, don't they?
Hey, I've just had a brilliant idea, right, for what we should do for next week.
Yeah.
Right, you've got one of these kipper skull cap things.
I've got a kipper.
Right, why don't we have put hidden cameras on ourselves, walk the streets of London
and get beaten up? Yeah,
and see what happens.
That is, yeah, yeah,
but at least we'll get footage, right? I've redeemed myself for having.
Well, you do it because
I'm up for it. Yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah. We'll dress him up as a chassid next week and see what happens to him.
Can I do the curly ones?
Yeah, we'll get you the whole thing.
The curly ones.
We'll get it with it built in the hat.
Can I look like Terry Tibbs when he was on Come Down With Me?
What you look like is them guys off Snatch.
Snatch?
Yeah, the Snatch. Yeah.
The Diamond Heist.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
It's a Shane Ritchie film. Anyway, Luke in Bromley.
Shane Ritchie film?
Yeah. Luke.
Hey there, hi. I know someone who was saved...
He married Madonna, didn't he, Shane Ritchie? Sorry, Luke.
I know someone who was saved their life because they sleep naked one time.
How did it save their life?
Well, a burglar came into the house, and because he was naked, he thought he couldn't go downstairs to see if it was a burglar, because it was a noise at that point. Because they had someone staying with them in the house, so he had to get some undies on or something on, just to sort of, in case he met his visitor who was staying in the house.
Yeah.
So in doing that, he then got downstairs, which meant he missed the burglar, and it turned out the burglar had stabbed someone in the previous house they'd been in because they were confronted.
Wow.
So if he hadn't have been naked, it wouldn't have delayed him and he would have run down too soon.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, they do say, I remember speaking to an SAS guy, one of the never confront a burglar, lock yourself in your room, call the authorities.
That's right, yeah. I shouldn't say, someone I know,
unless you have to,
very close to me, says that if ever you're sort of like attacked or whatever, you never look at them in the eyes, because once you get eye contact, you establish a relationship with them and they have to deal with that.
Don't look in the eyes, look around the eyes.
The thing is, look, obviously, we're political commentators, not criminologists or whatever, but it seems to me a burglar wants to leave. So I think what you do is make a bit of noise and let them go.
They're very high on adrenaline.
Throw something down the stairs is the best thing to do. Something big and heavy.
There's a lot of adrenaline in a burglar, and often you will find they've soiled the front room. Anyway, look, let's look at the rocket on that bombshell. Here is SpaceX, the latest. Hold on, Luke. This is a spaceship. We're going to come back to him in a sec. The Starship experience. This is SpaceX taking off, which is going to take off. I think it's more amazing when they land these days. I mean, taking off rockets.
So just to be clear, what we're looking at is SpaceX is launching its third generation Starship rocket.
It's an enormous one.
So it's
Southern Texas, called Starbase.
So just to be clear, I mean, these things are pretty incredible. What's amazing about all this, Asher, is the way that, you know, we had all the space shuttles and all that sort of thing, but this is all about the private sector being able to go to space. And if you think about it, the enormous investment that's gone into the creation of things like sat-navs, the things like satellite TV, or communications, the fact that if your phone stops working in Uganda, you can make a satellite call, admittedly not cheap, but you can do it and phone home in an emergency. But all of that was very much government-led. This is now private sector.
I mean, SatNav was, you know, originally an American Navy that started off that. But, yeah, like you say, this is Elon Musk's company. And at first, they kept landing them and they'd explode. And he said he would keep going. He was down to his last couple of billion. He said, look, if I lose all my money, I'm happy just going and getting a coffee. But this was his dream. And now this is the most powerful rocket ever built, the biggest one. And it's actually incredible. And he's now working. He's taken over from NASA. He's basically running the American space program privately, and he's doing better what this whole government agency couldn't do, what this man did, and just land rockets backwards. And it's T-minus 30 seconds, so we're coming up to 30 seconds to go, and there'll be a big... Are we going to get audio of the bit of the 10, 9, 8, 17? No, so we'll do that. So basically, this is incredible. It's one man's dream, and it's happened within just about a few years. He's doing this. He's magic. He's
I'll tell you what, for those of you listening on the radio, let's just explain what we're looking at here, because it's not a terribly great thing for radio. So effectively, this is a rocket. It almost looks like, you know, one of those toy rockets you might get.
It looks like your normal rocket on a tower about to take off. It must be about 5, 4.
So whereas in the past you might have seen, you know, the big cylinder with the two on the side and the shuttle, this is just one rocket. It looks more like, to lay people like us, it's going to look much more like a missile. But it doesn't seem to be...
It looks like a normal, like the old rockets that they had in the 60s. It's gone backwards, but it's incredible that they land these things back.
It is 407 feet tall. It's a two-stage rocket, which means that it will fly to a suborbital mission, and then it will split in half. The mission will see Super Heavy booster, which is called a Booster 19, splash down in the Gulf of Mexico.
You just had splashdown, didn't you, when I had that 15 minutes off? Anyway, it's going to have an aquatic end in the Indian Ocean, but the rest of it just lands back at the tower. It's just incredible. I'm sure you've all seen it, but it still blows my mind that within a few years, this bloke turns up. He's invented cars that drive themselves, robots, and rockets that land themselves. The man's he's like the Leonardo da Vinci.
I'll tell you what's interesting about this. I was watching Tim Peake, who's Britain's, I think, first.
We had him on the show once.
Yeah, most well known.
He said it was 30 seconds. It's been about 2 minutes. What's going on, Preston?
No, they've stopped. They've
paused. There's been a delay in the Starship Enterprise.
But what was interesting about what Tim Peake said was that initially we'd started off by sort of getting into space. So Sputnik was the first satellite. All it did was went boop, 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 with the radio signal. Yeah. Then Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space. I have to say, I've got a number of Russian friends who believe it wasn't the first man.
Yeah, they just died the ones before. They were never seen again.
First man who lived through it.
There was a dog before him called a Laker.
Yeah. So
Freddie Laker.
But here I think is what's interesting. We have now dealt with near-Earth orbit, effectively. There's all these satellites out there, and it's all great. That frees up the European Space Agency, ESA, and the North American Space Agency, NASA, and indeed some other players, including Russia to an extent and China, increasingly. That frees them up to go on much longer missions. These ideas of terraforming the moon, these ideas of landing and taking off on Mars, which is an incredibly difficult thing. I personally think it's highly, highly, highly unlikely that we'll see anyone land on Mars in my lifetime, but clearly that is the direction of travel. Right, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
We should have got Loundy on, our mate Andy Lound, but yeah, it's going to take off. I think there's a bit of a delay. Anyway, it's the most powerful rocket ever built. There's no men on it. But should we take a little break and come back and let's delay the takeoff? Phone Elon, just delay it for 2 minutes, and we'll be back with the takeoff right after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, so
I was just relaxing now. Right, we're going to go to a little video that he's made of you. It's clips of you, this is. Let's just have a look and see. It's his birthday. He has 2 birthdays for some reason, like the old Queen.
I'm not an old Queen.
Let's have a look, and this is a celebration of Andre. Let's celebrate Andre. Run the celebration.
On my show and insult the intelligence of my viewers and listeners by claiming that you are not a private healthcare provider and railing against the private sector. The reason you don't like the other private sector. The reason you don't like the other private sector.
You're extremely rude.
You are very rude yourself. The reason you don't like other private sector contractors is because they're bigger than you, and the BMA can't control them. Fact.
First of all, you've insulted me and told me I'm a simpleton when you know nothing about me. Second, based on what?
Based on the fact that you've said to me, point number 1, it is not assault to assault somebody, which makes you wrong. Point number 2, the Duke of Westminster presumably enjoyed being attacked at his wedding, which is obviously wrong. And point number 3, it is important to equate the violence I'm committing with people who oppose political violence in Russia. Those 3 things make you a simpleton.
Okay. I'm a simpleton.
Now, I just want to say to any other Andre Walkers, if any Andre Walker is angry with Andre Walker for using Andre Walker in the Andre Walker Show with Andre Walker and Andre Walker, you can contact Andre Walker.
In the studio at talkTV and Talk Radio. Here we go. Come on. We're going to win this presidential election. We're going to defend the United States of America and the United Kingdom.
I think you can be whatever you want to be. If you want
but
to.
What if I was to say I want to be a horse? And by the way, believe me, I'm similar. So I'm outside John Keats's talking about anatomy, half naked, and I've been told off by an Arsenal fan for being rude to people. How on earth has that ever happened? This is the life that I now lead, thanks to you at talkTV. What is a woman? I was getting the underground back from this studio the other day, and there was a young lad sat on the train, on the tube train, and he said, "What is a woman?" Like, you know, on the base of my Vox Pops video that I made a little while ago. I went, "Oh, hello, good to see you." And he went, "Fat bitch." I went, no, I'm not. So anyway, he was really going for it. He was kicking off. And the thing that made me laugh most about it, was I got onto the escalator, and you know how you run up one side and walk up and stand on the other. So he ran past me and went, "You'd be able to run too if you weren't such a fat bitch." But then to add insult to injury, he then waited at the top of the escalator so I could walk past him so he could continue to insult me. Then I got on the second escalator to go right up to the platform for the proper trains, stood on it, and he ran past me and said, "You still can't run, you fat bitch."
Is it Tourette's or something?
And then waited at the top and started following.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
In a way, you have to admire the commitment, don't you?
I thought that shows genuine commitment.
Good to have fans, isn't it?
It's good to go to train the unemployed. And then he asked for a selfie.
Funnily enough, all this happened while one of our contributors, Sam Armstrong, had bumped into me. And he was saying, "Does that happen regularly?" I said, "He's a particular fan." Thank you so much. So, as you know, it was my official birthday this week. And just to explain...
63 years old.
The hairstyle has changed many times, hasn't it?
So, yeah, it was a fantastic look back there. Yeah.
Just to explain why I have two birthdays.
Yes.
The reason is because my birthday is the bank holiday before the elections, local elections every year. So I celebrate my birthday 1 month later on the 19th of May. So thank you for all the birthdays. But I'm going to say something more than that. I'm going to say thank you so much for all of you viewers and listeners for supporting me, and thank you to you, Ash. I have to say, you know, this man has the patience of a saint. Yeah. His actual mate died, and then this fat, obnoxious northern bloke comes in.
I'm dealing with it. Yeah. But so there you go. I mean,
so that video, can I get that video? I want that video.
No,
by the way, the one thing is, I've been various different sizes and had multiple.
That suit's nice, wasn't it? Where's that blue suit with the waist?
It's at home, actually. I must get that back.
Why don't you wear that?
I must get that back, actually. I don't like these jackets. Also, I get makeup all over. Oh God, doesn't this sound bad? I'll get makeup all over them as well. Right, it's because we're required to wear makeup.
Andre and Ash, loved your dancing earlier. The Agony Uncle slot with Ash wasn't half bad either. The man with the hemorrhoids, oh, that was him. Oops,
when did you realise it was me?
It took me about 20 seconds because it sounded like a serious condition. You obviously had some experience of it.
Mildred.
Anyway, Luke's still here, right, Luke?
Of course I'm still here.
Sorry about that. Let's continue as if nothing happened.
Musk interrupted us. 407 feet tall, that rocket. It's a big one.
What happened? Did it take off? I mean, we know what happens. It goes...
It goes up.
It just ended the feed, and we never know. So
the reason why I phoned, Rachel Reeves, she's introduced a tax break for theme parks and zoos.
I know, exactly. Now, and if you were listening earlier, I know a little loophole. If you want to go to London Zoo and get free giraffe, zebra and camel, there's little spots in Regent's Park where you can see into it without having to go into the zoo.
Sorry, do me a favour. Apologies. I'm normally abreast of most things that are going on. Luke, I don't know anything about this. Explain.
Basically, Rachel Reeves announced that she's going to cut 20% to 5% on going to zoos and leisure parks. That was her big announcement. As we're all going to hell in a handcart, don't worry, because you can pay whatever it is, 60 quid or 80 quid instead of a 90 quid. Meanwhile, you're paying for people on universal credit, who some of them are in the top 10% of wealthy in the country, They're actually you're on the dole, and you're under 10% of the wealth of the country if you've got a few kids and your house paid for. Because over 65 grand, which some of them are on, you're in the top 10% rich.
Yeah.
And so all these, it's all a big smoke and mirrors. And meanwhile, we're going to hell in a handcart, and the economy's going to collapse. Luke.
What they're not telling you is you save £7 in the entrance fees, but they're not telling you how much you pay on the burgers and drinks, which is where they get the money from.
Well, yeah, but the entrance fees are bad enough. You go to London Zoo, it's a family of 4. It's not cheap.
But hasn't my understanding of theme parks, particularly in the United States of America, they are now interested in a small number of people being ripped off. So I don't go to theme parks, but can I tell you, I went to Arsenal football. Now, look, it's not a theme park, it's not a zoo, though some of the supporters were a bit. But on a serious note, what was very clear, so I was in the club area because one of our more wealthy contributors has 2 seats there, right? But it was very clear that they're moving away, and I understand this is happening at Anfield as well. They're moving away from season ticket holders. They're moving away from regular people. When I was a kid, I'd go on the Cop or go to Goodison Park for a £5, depending on which group of mates I was with that day. Now it's clear that you go to 1 match per season for, say, £300 per ticket, and you get your food and your drink and all that. I really worry about this. You only come once, but we nail you to the desk for
Well, listen to this.
£500.
London Zoo is £35 for an adult, and if you've got a kid over 3, it's £24.50 each. So if you're under 3, you get in free. By the way, you get a discount Universal Credit, and I bet it's a massive discount. And these people are richer than the people who are actually working and paying to get in.
Although I'll be honest with you, I don't mean to be rude, but of the people who are on Universal Credit, I wonder how much many of them get out of bed and make it.
No.
Ain't got anything better to do, but...
Yeah, the people are going to go there thinking they're saving a few quid because of rate of use, but they're going to spend it all on burgers and chips. Trust me, it's so expensive. You more than double your income.
I'll tell you the best place to go to.
Or going out for a meal these days, you know.
I'll tell you the best place to go to, and I'm not being funny. I happen to live in Ascot. Right, so I got, because I was a local resident, I got membership of the Royal Enclosure. Now it is very posh, but can I tell you the most amazing thing about the Royal Enclosure Ascot? If you phone the Royal Enclosure office, you get through to a human. First of all, they go, "Hello, Royal Enclosure office," right? Not "If you want this, press 5." None of that. And then what happens is you go, "Oh, I've got this problem. Like my mate booked a ticket, but I need to change the name." They go, "I'll just put you on hold." And it's clear that they go, "Steve, we've got a bit of a problem," to the manager, and he just signs it all off. The other thing that is brilliant about the Royal Enclosure...
They won't be doing that anymore, will they?
Brilliant thing about the Royal Enclosure Ascot, you can walk out of it and have your lunch on the high street and then go back in.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why would you want to have your lunch with the commoners?
Because it's about £1,000 for lunch.
What day are you going, Andre? Because my wife's going. What day are you going?
I'm going on Thursday.
Are you going to be there?
My wife is going on Saturday.
Can I let you into a little secret? Right, this is really funny. All of the leadership of Reform UK are all members of the Royal Enclosure Ascot, including I sponsored Dr. David Bull for his membership this year. But of course, the Makerfield by-election is on Thursday.
Don't mention it.
Of Royal Ascot. No, we don't. We won't have to mention it in the candidates. So basically, the Makerfield by-election is on, so they've all had to cancel. So they've all spent, and these badges, as you know, are £180 each per day. So if you've paid for the whole week, whew, that's not ideal.
They'll be passed on to family probably. So on that note, what do you think about the real abuse that Farage is getting at the minute for taking a gift for basically
£5 million?
I've got to be totally honest with you.
Go on.
I've got a very, very specific concern about this. I'm really worried about the security around political events. Now, I won't bore you with the details, but I'm in my own dispute with protesters who I believe were guilty of aggravated trespass. It's a long story, so we don't want to go into all of it. But the reality is, I don't like this throwing a milkshake on Ed Miliband. I don't like the throwing an egg at John Prescott. And I don't like the fact that it cost the police a fortune for any politician walkabout. I think it's really, really, really unfair. The reality, as far as I can see, is this. Nigel Farage, years ago, so I'm not an expert on this, had a dispute with the police. And it was this. The police were willing to give him protection, But they weren't willing to allow him to do all these walkabouts because they have to deploy 20 officers, 14 sniffer dogs, armour-plated this. And so in order to continue to do his walkabouts, in order to continue to live the life that he wanted to live, he had to pay for the security himself. I will tell you what I think the solution is. It's time to prosecute the milkshake gang. It's time to prosecute the egg-throwing gang for terrorism and throw them in prison. I think if you throw a milkshake over a politician, you should go to jail for 5 years.
But also, I mean, Farage should be given the full security of a leader of opposition, which is basically the same as a prime, because he's the lead for being prime minister at the moment.
But you think about this: 5 million on security. You know, it's just depressing.
That's only 5 years worth. You know that. 5 years worth of security. Obviously, when it becomes PM...
Well, it's not cheap, is it? Because you have to have different shifts. Anyway, thanks, Luke. Zero.
Yeah, so just to explain that, because I've looked at it myself. So, right, the car, armour-plated car, what's that, £1,000 a day with the driver? That would be cheap. Each security guard is going to be, what, £500 a day by the time you've paid them and you've got expenses. Now, remember, they don't work 24 hours a day, so you might need to do 8-hour shifts. So that means if you need a driver and 1 guard, that means you need 6 people. All of those people are on £500 a day each. That is £3,000 a day, plus the car, £4,000 a day, plus you know, these
hotels,
food.
Numbers
just go up, and then a backup car for the wife. There you go.
Of course, it should be government paid. It's ridiculous.
Another £6,000. You're on £12,000 a day, right? Secure location in your house. You know, I mean, we've got to start arresting these people and prosecuting the people that bully and threaten political debate.
They are getting it, but nothing happens like the milkshake woman. Nothing. No. Anyway.
Milkshaking. I mean, the milkshake stuff's a disgrace.
Well,
Ed Miliband and the egg.
And he had concrete thrown at him. I mean, they've got to sort this out. 0344 499 1000. After us, it's going to be Paul Ross. Don't forget about that. Anyway, we'll be back with Kevin in Basingstoke after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is Talk. And I'll tell you what, why don't we go to Kevin in Basingstoke? Kevin, our resident lefty, always has an interesting thought on things. Go for it.
Farage, $5 million for security. First of all, he said it was for security. Then he changed his mind and said it was for getting Brexit done. He said he wasn't going to do face-to-face surgery because of, for security reasons. I mean, he's got £5 million. Surely face-to-face surgery.
The reason, so look, I mean, I don't know what he spent the £5 million on, but I've got to be honest with you, I think the security thing is a major issue.
He always has his big security guards with him, and that's expensive.
I'll tell you what Theresa May did. So, as we all know, when Theresa May was Home Secretary, when she was Prime Minister, when she was chairman of the Conservative Party, she continued to be an excellent Member of Parliament for Maidenhead. In fact, I think she probably should have stayed on. But anyway, whatever. When she did her constituency surgery, she used to do them in Maidenhead Town Hall, and Special Branch wanted a police officer in the room, but for confidentiality, she refused to have that. But I know that their preference... Hey. Paul Ross is in the studio.
Just taking us off air.
Drunk again.
No, but we shouldn't be making him bend over like that. Poor guy.
Kevin, do you know what? We're just going to give up on this and talk to Paul Ross. But look, I don't know. On the serious note, I don't know what the £5 million was, but I'm inordinately frustrated about the threats to politicians. I honestly think, and I think for us, on a serious note, we would be hypocrites, Asher, if we sat here and we said that we don't believe in political debate.
Well, no, I mean, this is different to a politician. This is the guy who's at the top of the pulse of being Prime Minister. Sure, he should get the full security like the Prime Minister get. Anyway, Paul Ross is in the house.
Good morning,
We've got
gentlemen.
a lot of football.
Paul Ross, where have you been? You're as brown as a berry.
I know, because of the sun today.
Looks like
it's the heat. No, I'll tell you what it is. The makeup girls go home at 7 and leave me at it. But I'll blame the heat wave and me sitting down like...
very healthy.
Anyway, the England team, right? They've left out our main defender, what's his name? Spamhead.
Harry Maguire.
Why? His mum's furious and he was experienced.
I think, to be honest, with Phil Foden, Cole Palmer and Harry Maguire, Thomas Tuchel's a brutal but elitist manager, and I think he's looked at them and thought, you know what, they haven't been on it this season. They've certainly not been on it since Christmas. The one that surprised me is Luke Shaw not getting in there, because he's had a great season. But there's always going to be people disappointed. Harry Maguire's been a fantastic player for England at times.
And he gets last-minute goals as well, which other defenders don't do.
But then... He's spoiled for choice this time around.
Paul, I really want to ask you about this, because this is the football story that's really, really engaged me.
It's Spygate.
Southampton.
Yeah.
So obviously Danielle Nichols, her husband Dean Holden, is the deputy manager of Hull City. So I'll invite you to comment. Here's my take on it. At the end of the day, these football clubs don't give a toss about fines. And the reality is, if it's going to be a fair sport, it's got to be a fair sport. And the only way to discourage them is not to ask them to write a cheque, which they gladly write, is to say, get out of it.
I think you're right, and I think the thing that's unfolding now is the EFL have issued a statement, and it's like we talked about
saying that they're multiple offenders.
Yeah, but also they coughed to that quite early on.
Yeah, they did.
But I think one of the things that the EFL have now acknowledged is they've put the young lad, the intern, right in the... He's on the front page of the Times 2 days in a row, and there's a duty of care, without saying too sentimental, for a young guy. He was hoping for a career in football. Only the month earlier, I'm not going to name him, we call him Billy Pepper on the show, his name's close to that. Only a few weeks ago, he was standing behind Tonderek at the Southampton manager when Eckhart got Manager of the Month in the Championship. So he's trying for a career in football. If you're 20, 21 years old, and somebody in the hierarchy says, can you go and do this for us? It's yes, boss, whatever you like. So he's been exposed as the face.
Will he ever work again in football?
I'd like to think he would.
Would the manager get sacked from Southampton? He's a good manager, but
I think they're fudging the issue a bit on that Southampton. They may hang on to him because of his success. His excuse, though, I didn't realise this wasn't the done thing in English football.
He's like the Keir Starmer of football.
Ignorance is no defence in the eyes of the law.
So I mean... Look,
it's a shocker, though. Shocking decision.
Look. At the end of the day, part of your job as a presenter is to know the Ofcom regulations, right? And you can't turn around and
ignore them.
So I asked Dean Holden about this as a football manager of some repute. He's worked with Stephen Gerrard. He's a manager of Charlton and whatever. He said there's rumours about this sort of stuff, but what does not happen is there's not always a covert team. No, right? It's not the done thing, apparently.
And also, it did them no favours. They spied on Oxford and lost to Oxford, who were second from bottom.
It might have actually done them harm. Sometimes it's best to not know. It's like doing a show when you plan it too much. Anyway, what about Villa? What about the Villa,
Amazing. Historically, we celebrated that last night.
But we've got to forget about that now, because you've got to look away to the next match, isn't it? And it's Champions League next season.
Yeah.
So
and you'll fight for survival in the Premier League.
Oh, well, yeah, probably.
And as a West Ham fan, this weekend, either us or Spurs go down. So it's an incredibly dramatic weekend for football. That will cost, whichever team goes down, will cost them something in the region of £200 million in revenue.
Yeah, so
it's the most valuable match.
It's really funny because I'm so engaged with this whole thing for obvious reasons.
Sure.
The Sun is saying 265 million.
It goes up every day.
There's other things they'll make.
Yeah, of course.
And they can obviously buy
and you attract
more.
better players.
Exactly. And you can spend more.
Let me ask you this.
We've got 1 minute.
If you stay up and Spurs go down, is Spurs going down an additional pleasure?
It is for us, particularly. It takes some of the sting out of Arsenal getting the Premier League title again for a London football fan.
I get that.
It's a North London double whammy, isn't it? And for Arsenal, it'll be the dream season. And they've never been out of the Premier League, Spurs.